Good morning, Soldier Boy here, and welcome back to RoadCraft and its DLC, the Reclaim DLC, as we continue on from where we left off in the last stream. Good morning, how your week is going well. We're back today for 3.5 hours as we continue on from Tuesday morning stream. Now, Tuesday morning we continued on the Autumn Collapse map as part of the Reclaim DLC. I will say we managed to roll their vehicles quite a bit. That wasn't the best thing. But we managed to find some more places for materials. We ventured around them and opened up the surroundings. We got the metal beam facility back up and running. We found the concrete facility and the sawmill. We fixed the sawmill up, and we also finished off by doing a radio tower, which gave us more of the map. So we're making good progress. There's still lots to do. I think the hardest thing about this DLC compared to the previous DLC and the base game is you've got to find things for yourself, but on top of that, everything's not given to you. You've really got to look. You've really got to work out your best way of doing things. And I like that level they've added to it of it's not just handed to you. I think the previous base game and the first DLC, a lot of it, you just followed the instructions and just potted along. This one, you really do need to think about things and what order to do things, what materials to get from where. And I like that extra dynamic to it, to be honest. So yeah, we continue on today with 3.5 hours, see how much more we can do. And we'll see how we go. Let me check sound and everything else, and then we'll crack on. As we were talking about on the previous stream about Metal Gear Solid and the Master Chief Collection, how I was struggling with it, not enjoying it, and whether I'd become a little bit of a graphics snob, maybe, and that's why I wasn't enjoying it, or was it just the age of the game? Well, yesterday I managed to get some recording done, first time in a while, and I thought, okay, let's have a look at a newer version, a newer game. So we did. I had a look at Metal Gear Solid V. Is it something Heroes? I can't remember the name of it now. And the Phantom Pain, and thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't do much. I did a couple of hours, but yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. There is an issue with Heroes, mainly because there's a massive blocked scene, which is the last scene of the whole prologue game, the Heroes side of things, which is meant to be a prequel to the main game, Phantom Pain. Now, a block scene in itself isn't that bad, but it's the whole of the ending that sets up the next one. I don't know how I want to get around that as it stands. But yeah, so, a bit weird. But yeah, so I think the age is an issue. I don't know. I never thought I was like that. I never thought it was a big thing for me, an age of a game or the graphics. But yeah, completely different vibe to the previous. So hopefully I'll get the edited and sorted soon so we can start episode content again. I just wanted to see if I was right in my thinking that it was the age of the game that was getting to me more than anything else. And yeah, I think it was. But yeah, we're getting there episode content. I'm definitely glad I took yesterday off. I'm struggling massively this week. And I know we talked about in the last stream. Streaming isn't difficult. You sit there, you chat, you play, happy days. When someone physically struggles to sit up for long periods of time, for what other people would find easy, it is very, very difficult. And I've definitely struggled this week. As I say, I'm just glad that we did think, well, we didn't think ahead because I'd already planned to have it off, but I'm glad we had yesterday to help. So yeah, definitely something we've got to keep an eye on. So Autumn Collapse, we're 30% complete, 5 of 15 infrastructure. Haven't completed the main objective, which is the main thing anyway. And 11 of 35 side objectives. As you can see from the map, the top right-hand side, the northeast, we still haven't really explored. So that's something we need to have a look at. We gained a few missions at the end of the stream last time after doing the radio tower, which showed more of the map. So lots to figure out, lots to decide what order we're going to do things in, lots of materials to find and make. So lots to do. 30% complete sounds like quite a bit, but actually I feel like it's not. But we are getting there slowly. We did manage to find more buildings we can destroy. Now, we talked about this in the last stream on Tuesday. The biggest disappointment so far with this DLC has been the lack of buildings you can use the Wrecking Ball on. Now, the whole DLC was built around and advertised with this Wrecking Ball. So I thought it would play a big part. And yet, when you first start the DLC, yes, you get to destroy something immediately. Brilliant. But as soon as you've done that, that's it. There's not been another building since. Until Tuesday, when we actually managed to find some more buildings we can destroy. So over here, there is 5 buildings. What's the name of this bit? Flooded Creekstone Town. There are 5 buildings that you can destroy, which is nice, but is it too little too late? I don't know. Part of me thinks it is, part of me thinks that, you know, the wrecking ball should have been used a lot more than it has done so far. But we'll work it out. Obviously, we're going to need to do those at some point. Let me just reply to my boy. This is now at school. He's really loving his new phone. We got him a phone over Easter, mainly for contacting us to say he's at school and stuff. We've been putting off and putting off, and yeah, he's loving it. I think he's gained a newfound confidence by having it as well. Thanks for the like, much appreciated. Right, let's have a look at missions, shall we? So main mission, obviously, we know about. That's construct the oil building, oil storage and oil rig. Obviously, that's the last thing we need to do. We need everything else up and running first. Side missions. We've got construct a road further inland. Now, this road is here. And this road actually travels from the dam all the way round to this road here. But as we were working out in the last stream, there is a bridge to go across that we kind of put in place ourselves. Although there was the remnants of an old bridge, but we couldn't build onto it, weirdly. So we put our own one in place. We're going to need to use that. There's a convoy, I believe, that we need to get across that bridge. So really, whatever road we build here, we're going to need to extend probably up here and into the quarry and that way. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to access this easily, especially if there's a convoy to use. That's something we need to look at. Send support to the shore forward operating base, the FOB. This infrastructure route, we need to send it from our main base. And this is going to the coastal base. Again, this is something to think about with that road that needs building. Is we're going to need to put a road in place. There is no way a convoy is going to make it unless we do a road. So again, that's going to be an extension of this road here to go all the way up here into the base. Otherwise, there's no way that that convoy will get there. What else do we have? Deliver metal pipes. Again, another convoy. This starts at our base again. To the concrete slab facility. And once again, that's what we're saying about this road we're going to need to build to get across to the bridge so we can then deliver stuff to the concrete facility. Again, it's something we need to sort out. I think the biggest thing is going to be a road. Deliver the equipment to the forward operating base across the river. So this is another one from the coastal base this time to the forward base up here. Again, we're going to need a road coming down from this base down to our bridge. Would be the most likely option, I think. That's that one. What else have we got? Along the way to the Black Forest Castle. Now we need to get dynamite for that. That dynamite's up here. We haven't unlocked this over here yet. We obviously need to build a bridge, either from the railway base or from over here to get across to it. I think, yeah, there's an option there for a bridge across there. And hopefully that will open up this bit over here as well. So that's something we need to look at doing, building a bridge. What do we got? That's it. So they're the things we need to focus on. I think we need to focus on the road, because a lot of these things need road to be able to get them done. So let's have a look. So I think what we should do, we did build this road in the last stream actually, to be fair, is we should start the road off down here and run it to where it wants us to run it to, and then we need to spur off and come up here, connect up here to this base over here so we can do a convoy there, probably come back down here as well to connect there, and then connect this up as well. That's kind of, I think it's going to be a big old place, big thing to do. We do need to unlock the quarry. So if we track that mission for the start, let's activate the quarry for 10 tokens. And then we just need to double check how far it goes. Okay, so we are fully covered, I believe. Or are we? Actually, no, I don't think we are. This bit here is where we're going to struggle with sand. Okay, we can solve that ourselves. So it's just, well, it's actually the whole road bit that we need to build is the bit that's not covered by a quarry. interestingly. So that's something we need to deal with. Our best bet is probably to put a big dumper here and use that to come off. I think is our best way. So if we jump into the coastal base over here and we grab a dumper and we'll take it over there to then put it in place. We did check the shop, but just to check one more time, there's no new vehicles for us to use. We did use the Wayfarer as a dump truck last time. Hated it. But everything else we own now, so there's no new vehicles in the shop for us to buy when it comes to road building at the very least. Right, we just need a dumper truck. It doesn't matter what it is, other than it needs to hold, that's only a 20-ton amount. It's all about how much it can hold, because we need a heavy dumper for this. The bay cow can do 40 ton. 10, yeah, we'll use the bay cow then, I think. I don't think there's anything bigger than that, is there? No. Right, so if we deploy the bay cow, so this is just going to be so we've got an extra bit to use. Because we get it here, I don't know if that'll be enough. The only other thing we can do with the sand quarry is actually put the vehicle that uses the sand. I don't know if that'd increase our distance, I'm not sure. Let's drive this first. So we need to come out of here and just head to this kind of corner of the quarry, essentially. So we'll take this across, put it on the corner, and then that way, that will give us a little bit extra room to be able to use the dumper there, put sand down for the road. As I say, we're going to have to extend this road massively, because there's no way a convoy is making it down this road or this track at the very least, and that's one of the convoys we need to set up. But yeah, all this is going to need fitting in due course. The road itself we want us to build, we'll get the AI to do the sand as we generally always do. Now we tested out the Wayfarer and hated every minute of it. But the rest of it we'll have to put the sand down ourselves. But yeah, I think we start off, there's like 3 or 4 different spurs on this road are going to be needed. But if we get that done, that gets the convoys up and running. They can be doing their thing while we're doing other stuff. So the road really is the priority, just so the convoys can do everything else. Right, let's just check where we are. So we're coming up around this corner. I'm thinking we kind of need to sit by these trees, effectively. I'm hoping this can go for that water. I don't know how deep it is. Yeah, again, this will all need filling in with sand. That's fine. The bay cow we've used previously, and in most conditions, it was amazing. We have had quite a lot of experience with it, to be fair. Craig Irishman, good morning, how are you? Thanks for the like, much appreciated. So, my thinking is we park somewhere around here just to give us a bit of an extension on the quarry. So it's the quarry, and we need to be further on actually, we need to be here. Or, yeah, we need to be roughly here, don't we? I thought we was close, actually we want to be over here. Because the road we're building first, before we spur off, is here. So, yeah, we need to bring this all the way down to this kind of area, roughly here really, is where we're going. And then we've got several spurs to do to make all the convoys work. As I say, once the road's done and all the spurs are done, we can have 3 or 4 different convoys now then doing its thing while we go and build a bridge or go and get the buildings knocked down. It just frees us up massively, but this is the big bit we need to start with. Because at least, if the convoys are doing their thing while we're busy, brilliant. There's nothing worse than having to keep stopping to go and sort of convoy outwards. We've got roads everywhere, solves the problem. Right, I think we're going left here. Just double check. Yeah, we're kind of roughly heading for this bit over here, the junction. It's going to be a bit time consuming, I think, mainly because we're going to have to do a lot of the sand ourselves. That's something we do struggle with a little bit. Once the main road's built. The main road we can get the AI to put the sand down. Might actually stuck in the mud. This bay cow has never really had an issue with mud till now. It's always done really well in these kind of tough conditions. Another reason why we do need sand down though, because there's no way the convoy's going to get through here, are they? Might have to use the vehicle to tow us. No, we're okay. We're moving around, we got there in the end. Yeah, there's no way convoys going to get down here. So yeah, a bit of work on road building, and then we should be bridges and knocking a few buildings down, hopefully, and go from there. And we'll see how much we get done today. But how are you today, Crazy Archman? Hope you're well. Hope your week is going well. What's that there? Oh, that's the road, isn't it? Right, so we roughly want this kind of on this corner. You can see where we put power in previously. Just need to double check where we are in relation to the actual zone. Because you want to be on the edge of the zone if possible. I think we kind of are. We're still nowhere near the amount of sand we're going to need. I thought we'd be closer. The only thing I can think of, maybe, I don't know if the AI will actually do it without the sand. We'll have to figure that out. I thought this would give us more, but it isn't going to do so. There's no other quarry, is there? No. Okay. This is the only bit that's awkward, is this bit of road it wants us to make. Everything else is fine. Oh, you're on your annual leave, are you? Nice. Okay. Where's our truck? Did we use the truck for something else? I think we did, because it's not there. We must have used the Wayfarer truck for something else, I think. It's not there. Where did we use it? Oh, we used it for delivering materials to Radio Tower, that's why. Thinking, I knew it was somewhere. Right, we need to jump into the main base over here then. Grab another vehicle that can do the same thing. To be fair, the Aramatsu bowhead it's only a 20-ton capacity, isn't it? It's half the capacity of the Baikal. Yeah, if we use this Baikal for this bit, well, the AI will be using it, to be fair, so it doesn't really matter, because it can hold a 40-ton capacity. So we'll use this Baikal to start with. Thinking is, we get this off and running with the AI, we can drive everything else over, and we'll see what it does about the lack of sand. I'm hoping, I think we've done it previously, sometimes it does carry on, sometimes it stops. If it stops, we'll just have to fill it back up and reset it. And it will give us a chance to get all the other vehicles across at least. But yeah, the AI will start off doing the sand. That's the bit I struggle with. Do not know my route. Oh, okay, follow the road straight. I'm trying to remember the route we need to take. So we'll get the road, that's the mission-based road done first, then we'll do all our spurs off for the convoys, and then we'll go from there. I'd like to have all 3-4 convoys off and running while we're busy. But it will be a bit time-consuming just to get all these different roads done to start with, to allow that to happen. But we'll get there. It's really nice to be back in this, to be fair. I'm actually... It's one of those things that you miss playing, but because we only stream it, I haven't been able to play in my own time. So, I've actually missed cracking on, to be fair. I'm hoping they carry on supporting this as much as they do SnowRunner, to be honest. You know, there is a bit of concern they're going to just drop this after a few updates and that'll be done, but I'm hoping they keep supporting it going forward and keep bringing new ideas to it, because I think that'd be quite good fun. Whether it'll have the level of support SnowRunner gets, I'm not sure, but currently, it'll be interesting to see what else they can bring. I know there's new vehicles coming out end of this month, start of May. 3 new all-terrain vehicles, so when they come out we'll be having a look at those as well. Right, this is the request. We're going to set this up. Right, we need to select route. There we go. The AI is now doing the sand, which is what we wanted. So after the sand, we need the whatchamacallit? A dozer. Is it a dozer? I think it's called a dozer. Pretty sure it's a grader, isn't it? Grader, dozer. roughly the same thing. Probably is a difference, to be fair. At some point we need to build a bridge there as well. Although that bridge isn't really that needed at the minute. It's not a priority. It's not a route we really use at the minute. But yeah, I think in the future we'll need a bridge there. That connects us to the oil rig from this road. So yeah, probably will be needed in due course, but at the minute it's not a priority. So we'll get this across to where the sand has been put down. I mean, we can always grade behind the AI, to be fair, so that's not a big deal to do it while it's doing it. I don't think this road will take very long. It's the other bits that are going to take a bit longer, to be fair. But yeah, I said at the start of the stream, Crazy Ash, you know, we were talking about Metal Gear Solid and how I struggled Master Chief Collection. We completed the first one, a little bit into the second. I'm really struggling to enjoy it. I tried Metal Gear Solid V, Phantom Pain and Heroes, the prologue, I think it is, or the prologue, I think it is, yesterday. And we actually managed to get some recording done. I did regret it come the afternoon because I was staying up too long, but yeah, really enjoyed it. It's like a different game. It's weird. I never thought I was like an age of a game or graphics snob in that way, but yeah, completely different kettle of fish. I really enjoyed it. So that will be coming to the channel soon. I need to crack on with some more SnowRunner, Wreckfest, and we do need to start Far Cry 6 as well. But I'm also very conscious of not overdoing things at the minute. Oh, I forgot this is a double road. I did forget this was a double road. How's that doing? What has it done? Why is it there? I don't understand. I don't know what it's doing. We may as well get close to it and find out what it's doing, because I'm not sure what it's actually doing in the forest there, in the trees. I always decide to have a moment of, I don't know, madness, I suppose. I forgot though this was a double road we needed to do here. Well, they changed anything. The vehicle was stuck. Did it now? I'm not that surprised considering it's in the forest. Oh, it's still going. It said it got stuck, but I can't. I'd have to. Yeah, now it's got stuck. Is it going to sort itself out? Why? Okay. It's just going backwards and forwards into the same bit. I need to. How do I cancel it? I don't want to spectate. I need to cancel it. Oh, cancel road. Where's it put it? Oh, no, it's put it back down here. Okay, perfect. If we want to enter this, let's refill it with sand first. I don't know what happened to it there. It decided a moment of madness and do its own thing. So be it. Yeah, I'm trying to get the episodic stuff back. I'm just trying to be very conscious of doing too much, but also I'm not just doing too much. I'm very conscious of not overdoing it. I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't say it. Yeah, it is. It's weird, isn't it? How we perceive games and that kind of thing. It's a weird one, because I never thought I was that interested in graphics and things. That's why I'm finding it weird, but actually it does make a big difference to me, more than I realised, interestingly. But yeah, we are trying to get stuff back. I want to get the channel back to what it used to be in terms of episodic content as well as live streams. It does mean we lose a live stream in the week for me to be able to do it. And I'm still battling the drowsiness as well. But hopefully long term it should be good. Hopefully. There's a stump there that could cause us an issue with that road. Annoyingly. Right. So the AI is now doing the sand for the other bit. We're going to have to stop short here. Allow the AI to finish off doing what it's doing. Because after it's done this bit, we'll set it to do the bit next to us as well. Because it can be laying the sand down for the bit next to the other side of this road while we're carrying on doing this bit. the aim anyway. Why is it going all squiff? I don't get why it's struggling so much. I've never seen the arrow struggle so much to put sand down. Amazingly though, as it's going in weirdly, in weird directions, it is still putting the sand down in a straight line. I think, oh, it's run out of sand. Okay. So now what's he going to do? Try and turn around? Or get stuck? Get stuck. I thought this would be simple with the AI. I really did. Right, how do I cancel it? Where's it put it back to? Oh, it's now over here. I didn't want it there, ideally. Right, what we're going to need to do then, we've got to quickly drive and pick more sand up. If we can't do it from here, we've got to go down this side. We'll put the sand in the position, in the bit that it's missed, and then we'll set off to do this bit of road here. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm being very, very conscious of not overdoing it. I have a very, very bad habit trying to do too much. When by now I should know my limits, and I do know my limits. I just don't accept them. I think that's the big difference. And I find it really frustrating that I've got limits. I think that's the issue. Is I still don't fully accept the injuries to the degree they are. And that's obviously a big thing. If you don't accept your situation, it's very difficult then to manage it. And part of me still thinks this would one day go away. Whereas, you know, even with the surgery, it's never fully going away. And if anything, it can make the back worse. So, it's one of those. Yeah, I'm in kind of in two minds of everything at the minute. So yeah, I'm trying to be very conscious of how much I do. I think the thing I've got to be careful of, the one thing I'm trying to be a bit more conscious of, is I have a very bad habit of going all in. Now, that's all well and good, but it's then to the detriment of my family, because I'll spend the week overdoing it to keep the channel going and put more effort into the channel. And then come the weekend, I can't physically do anything with the family. And I think that's unfair on them. So that's the thing I'm trying to manage at the minute, is to make sure I can do more than just the channel. Yeah, it is. It's definitely my work ethic. I've always been a workaholic, so not working does my head in. And I think that's also why I think I treat this in a way as a job. I like that schedule of, right, we're streaming in the morning, we'll stop for a lunch break, and then we'll do this in the afternoon, or edit or record or do something, because then it kind of gives me that focus that I am working, essentially, in inverted commas. But it's weird. And yeah, I think that's one thing I've done since the accident, is I've kind of focused a lot on the channel, pushed myself beyond what I should have done, and then my family's suffered because I've not been able to do anything with them at the weekends, because I've just done too much in the week. And it's something that, you know, I've spoken quite a lot on my behalf about, and it is me. That's the issue. There's no one else can fix it but me, and it is just the way I am. But at the same time, it's not fair on them, and I realise that. But it's just trying to get that equilibrium, the balance of everything right. That's the thing, and it's something I've not managed to get right since the accident. So I'm trying to do better now, essentially. I think obviously the first step is actually realising and understanding. I think that's definitely the first step. So I've improved a little bit in that regard. Okay. Right, we've put the sand down that the AI missed. We now need to go back and fill up, and then we'll set the AI off on the other side, and hopefully we can get the rest of it done. We may have to bring it back to fill back up again when it runs out of sand though. I think that's what the AI was trying to do. When it runs out of sand, I think it was trying to turn around and fill back up, but it couldn't turn around. It kept getting stuck in the trees and things. I think that's what it was trying to do by the looks of things. It's the only kind of reason it makes sense that the AI was struggling, to be fair. But yeah, I think that makes sense. That's what it was trying to do. Why can't you refill? Oh, is the other tipper empty? Okay. So although we're using the other tipper as a mobile quarry, we also need to make sure the other tipper is full, although maybe we didn't need the other tipper, I don't know. Let's refill that as well. Okay, that's good to go. So we need to set this off on this route, so we select the vehicle, select this side, and now we should be carry on. We can then carry on grading this side while that's doing its thing. Is the plan. But yeah, I think we are getting there, Crazy Ashman. It's just, I don't know. I kind of still dislike the fact that I can't do as much as I want to do. That's the thing as well. And no matter how much I push myself, that's still in my head that, you know, can't do as much as I want. But a lot of it is understanding what you can and can't do, I think. Hunter, good morning, how are you? We'll get there. You know, we are trying, you know, it's, I think what kind of shocked me was our yearly review of the channel. And looking at the numbers, you know, the first couple of years we were doing 600 episodes or 600 episodes of something in the year. And then last year we managed 200. That's quite a big deficit, really. And I think that number kind of surprised me how different it was as well, to be fair. I didn't think there was that much of a deviation in what we managed to get done. But then I do think 600 probably was too much at the same time. And put too much pressure on myself to make sure we were doing that amount. So there we go, we're learning. It's only taken 5 years, but we're still learning. You know, and if the operation is successful, there is a chance we return to work to some capacity. Which then means the channel needs to change and adapt a bit more as well. We just don't know how that's going to be yet. That's the thing. Only time will tell. But at the minute, we're happy. We're keeping things steady. That's the important part. Right, I'm just going to make sure there's no real gap in this middle bit. I may have to come back with the grader just to make sure it's flat in that middle for this double road. Obviously there won't be a gap when we lay the asphalt. We'll actually fill in the gap as well to make sure it's not there. What's the AI doing currently? See, this is what the AI does sometimes. Is we saw on the other side it ran out of sand. This side it hasn't. And this is why the AI doing the sand sometimes is really good, because it doesn't run out of sand when it's, even though there's nowhere to refill, we'll just keep going. Like, how did that fail? I'm pretty sure that convoy is complete. I think we got all the rewards. We'll have to double check. Although, actually, the truck has stopped. It's gone to refill. What's it doing? I was just saying how sometimes it doesn't need to refill, it'll just go. But I think actually it's gone to refill. It's full, isn't it? No, it's empty. So it's why did it kick me? Oh, okay. So it is empty. So it's gone back to the start because it's empty. Why can't I enter it? It's weird. Can I enter it yet? Yeah, we can now. Okay. So it went back to the start of the road section because obviously it's out of sand. It definitely put more down than it should have done though. Sometimes we've had previously with roads that when they are always laying the sand for you, it doesn't run out, it just keeps going. And then I've noticed more in the DLC, well both DLCs in fact, I've noticed that isn't a thing anymore. So it's like, it's maybe something they fixed, where the AI originally would never run out of sand, and now it does. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing previously, it would always just carry on. In some ways, the realism aspect, it's good that it runs out, it makes sense. The annoyance of that is obviously the fact it runs out and you've got to go and sort it out every time. It's not so bad if obviously you're still in the quarry zone and it can refill as it goes, because obviously then it won't run out. But when you're not in a quarry zone, you then have to keep manually refilling. Okay. We need to turn round, get back down to where it needs to start again. I think I can start it off where it left off last time, I think. I'm hoping we can. Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. The first step is admitting, you know, you need help and stuff. And I don't do that. It's like when I'm trying to cook dinner. And I know I'm overdoing it. I know I can't, you know, my knees start buckling because my back's gone and my hands stop working properly when my back goes. I'm like, I'll do it. I'll give you a hand. And I'm like, no, I'll do it. But I don't want to admit that I need help. I think it's one of those, isn't it? I need to accept help more. And I still refuse now. On behalf, it's really annoyed me for it. But I suppose it's a bit of pride, isn't it? It's weird. See, it's these kind of things, though, you don't think about until you really have to. Until, like, the accident and the injuries and stuff, I would never have thought about half of this stuff. Right, me and my half were always a partnership, didn't have any issue there. But I never thought I was a proud person in that way. It's only now I realise I am. It's really weird. But that's why I say you've got to live every day to the full at the end of the day. You don't know what's around the corner. You know, that day, we didn't know, obviously, what was going to happen. You know, we just headed off for work for the day as normal. And when push comes to shove, it wasn't a normal day. Right. Why is it not letting us do this again? Sometimes it does this, I've noticed. It might be because I'm in the vehicle. Right, road planning request. Best on the vehicle. It may... do you know what it is, I think? It's because it's not at the start, is it? Is it because it's not at the start that I can't set it off? Maybe. I can't select the vehicle. I think I've got to take it back to the start. Yeah, I think I've got to drive it to the start to get it to work. I can't select the vehicle. Okay. What we'll have to do is drive it to the other end to start off, and then it will probably get to the middle and still have a bit missing, and then we'll have to fit it in ourselves, I think. But obviously, normally the AI doing the sand for us makes life easy. Why are we stuck? But in this case, it's actually making life a lot harder. I probably could just lay the sand myself, to be fair. It may have been quicker. The first bit it did was fine. It's after that it's been struggling. But we'll get it in the right position. We'll set it off again. We can always go and start bringing the asphalt layer this way while we're waiting for it to finish off, so we can finish grading. We're still going to need that over this way no matter what, aren't we? So after this, though, the roads that we need to do off this main road, we're going to have to do all ourselves anyway. The AI won't be involved because it's not a set planned road. But we need them for the convoys. So either way, this is the last bit the AI is going to do for us, really, for the time being. Okay, stop there. Right, now we should be able to do the road. I think I need to select vehicle first. Select vehicle, select route. Jobs are good. Right, while it's doing its thing, we're going to jump into the asphalt layer and start bringing it this way, as it's over here. And that can carry on doing its thing while we bring this over. It's all roads to get there, but it does drive slower than other vehicles, so it's not going to be a quick way to get there, but it is all road at least, so we shouldn't have any issues getting there. And then I'm assuming that will stop before it finishes the sand, and we'll fill in the little gap. And then that's the arrow finished with everything else. And then we've got to do all the spur offs. Thanks for the like, much appreciated. For those that haven't checked the schedule this week, we are back tomorrow morning with Kingdom Come Deliverance. Hopefully we're finishing off the base game tomorrow, maybe starting the DLCs depending how long is left. Yeah, we can get things done. Exactly. It is definitely outdated, absolutely, you're right. As I say, I never realised how proud I was, really, until these things happen, and then you have to kind of look at yourself. And it's not. I think the first step is, like you say, is understanding that you need help. It's still then difficult to accept it. That's the thing. It's the whole accident, of course. We definitely need to self-reflect a lot more. Think about myself and how I act. More than I ever thought anything would, to be fair. But it's definitely a weird one. As I say, you've just got to live life to the full while you can. You don't know what's around the corner. You never know what's going to happen next. That's the important thing, I think. But we're getting there. Obviously, we're still waiting for a date for the op after it's been cancelled twice. My only concern is obviously the longer it takes them to rearrange the operation, the more likely we are to need another pre-op, because all the tests will be out of date. Now, we had the pre-op during the Easter holidays, and I was out of it for a week. It took me a week to recover. And as I said, they didn't do anything major. It took blood, we had to sit around a lot, but it took me a week. And I don't want a week's recovery. So I don't really want a second pre-op if I can avoid it. But I've got a feeling we're not going to get a new date in time. So we may have to have a second one. That's one of the reasons I don't leave the house very much. It's just because you look at, right, we're going to go out for an hour. We're going to walk this way, we're going to see this and that. And then I think about it and go, well, is it worth it? I know it's going to take me 3 days to recover. Is that pain for that hour worth 3 days of agony? That's one of the big reasons I don't leave the house very often. Because the trade-off just isn't worth it. It is what it is. I feel like I'm being really down today. I don't mean to be at all. I'm actually in a really good mood. I'm in a good place. I just feel like I'm moaning a lot today. Definitely not what I intended. It's not popped up to the AI's broken or anything, which is good. Probably try a tail round to go and fill up more than likely. But we'll check it out in a second. We'll get this to the position we need it in, and then we'll check what the AI is doing. We do need to check that route that broke, but I'm pretty sure that infrastructure route that's broken, I just said it failed, is complete. We won't lose anything at failing. It's weird that it failed because it was on the main road, but there we go, we'll have to have a look. See what caused that. I can hear reversing, so I think the AI is trying to reverse. In fact, the AI is here. Trying to reverse against... What is it doing? Has it actually done it? It hasn't done anything. So the AI is here, but it hasn't gone anywhere. Ah, this AI is now starting to annoy me. All I want it to do is lay the sand, because it's a pain in the butt for me to do. Cancel road. Right. I'm just going to line this up ourselves. Part of me thinks I should just go and do this myself, but I'm going to set this up one last time, otherwise we'll just do it ourselves. Only because we can bring the roller over while this is doing it. We'll square it off so it can get there quite easily. I thought, it's not come up and said it's had an issue. Which made me think, oh, maybe there is no issue. There was an issue. Right, hopefully now. Why are you reversing so much? Right, hopefully it'll do its thing. So, we failed a route, but none of the routes are currently running. Let's double check. Yeah, so the route that failed is already complete. That's why it's not a big deal. Right, while it's doing its thing, We're going to jump in the roller just to bring it over as well. We know we're going to need it shortly. So we'll jump in the roller and bring this across as well. That probably would have been quicker for me to just do the sand myself, but it does give us an opportunity to bring vehicles over that we need. So it's one of those, the trade-offs there, isn't it, really? We'll have to put the sand down ourselves for the rest of it once the main road is done anyway, so save myself. Hopefully, I thought I was saving a bit of time, but I don't think we are. Just because of how much the AI is messing up. I caught up on a few of Mr. CDP's videos yesterday, Crazy Archman, and did make me have a hankering for playing some more Farming Simulator again, the new one. I don't want to spend the money though on the new game, knowing I probably won't play it very much. It used to be like I'd get an hour or two in the evenings to play to myself, and although we can't stream because I start getting drowsy in the evenings, I still could do something for an hour and a game for myself. But that's changed a bit now the boy's older, because he's going to bed late, which means over half he's going to bed late than she used to. Which is eating into my actual gaming free time to myself, annoyingly. Not that I can tell her that. Vehicle got stuck, what a surprise. Well, we'll get the roller over here by the asphalt layer and then we'll deal with this vehicle. We'll lay the rest of the sand ourselves because I'm fed up with the AI now. I've always praised the AI in this, how good it is when you get it doing a road and stuff. And even the convoys, I think it acts really well. But there are moments when the AI is horrendous. And today is proving that. I don't know if it's just struggling with the map or what, but yeah, the AI can be a pain. Right, let's go and check on this vehicle that's having a moment. Where are you? Oh, okay. I know why it's having a moment. Because we're in its way. Thing is, it's done. I'm going to move out of its way because it should just then carry on. Is it finished laying the sand? No. It's missed a little bit, I think. Right, if I cancel this though, is it empty? It's actually it's beached itself anyway. Right, we're going to cancel it. If I can get it to do what I need to do. There we go. Where's it gone back to? It's over here. So I'm pretty sure it's missed a little bit of sand. So we'll quickly go and finish off the bit we need to do, and then the AI can then go away for a little while. We don't need the AI again now. I forgot we could actually drive while filling. But there's a little bit of the road needed to finish off, and then we are done with the sand, at least for the time being, until we start the other bits. No more AI for the time being. If obviously our vehicle weren't in the way, it probably would have been okay. I think we did screw up a little bit ourselves there. I didn't think it would do what it did though, so one of those. But yeah, one little bit of sand to fill in here, and then that'll be job done. The sand went off because of the cable laying. Yeah, that's very true. It does make it more bouncy. It does change the way you're driving. What are you doing now? Yeah, you are right. It's always good to lay the cable first, but obviously the downside to that, you then make the ground uneven, and driving over it can be an issue for yourself and the AI, to be fair. So yeah, it could be the cable laying we did first. But obviously you need to do the cable laying first as well, that's the thing. Right, that is the sand done. We can finally forget about this one. This is actually the rusty Baykal as well. It's not the main one. The main one was acting as a second quarry zone. This is the rusty version. So obviously this is going to struggle more than the main one will. Because it lacks I think it's one stability less and maybe a speed less. I'm not 100% sure about looking. But there is a difference. Right, we need to finish off flattening the sand. And then we're good to go with the asphalt lane. But we do want to come back down the middle just to make sure the middle is flat. Before we try and lay asphalt as well. I suppose I better warn you guys just in case. I don't think it will happen, but I may get a phone call from my voice school today. I don't think it will. They'll ring me. They'll probably try the other half first, who won't answer. She can't. So they may ring me if they need to. Either that or they'll just email. I'm not sure. We've had a few issues with the school and boy. Not that he's not in trouble. It's just they've been a pain in the butt of what they're doing. Basically, he was playing paddleball at a lunch break, and he dropped the racket while trying to hand it to someone. He has dyspraxia, so he struggles sometimes with coordination and drops things, and it's one of those things, you know. Doesn't affect him all the time, but yeah, dropping things is normal for him. And he was punished there and then. They said he threw the racket on the floor when he dropped it. Told he couldn't play anymore that day, which is fine, you know. These things happen. They're treating it as it was an accidental. Okay, that's what it is. And then the lunchtime supervisor, then he went into school yesterday and said, and at lunchtime went up to him while he's playing basketball with his mates and went, "You can't play, you're banned." And he's like, "What?" Alright, "Yeah, you're banned from playing basketball today because of what you did yesterday." How do you carry a punishment over without telling him in advance? And even taking that aside, he had no clue this was going to happen. And we checked the behaviour policy yesterday and found that actually the midday supervisors aren't even allowed to punish children. They have to notify the teachers who can then do the punishments. They can't ban them from playing things at lunchtime. Only a teacher can do that. And it's got to be recorded and written down. As far as we're aware, it's not. So we emailed them last night. My other half had to email them. My other half is really good at being one of the stern but firm parents, whereas I tend to lose it and just have a go at him. And use really long words to really annoy him, but I tend to take it too far. So it's always good if she replies to the school first, and I deal with it when they don't do anything. Well, they're saying that the other week, so because I have so many different painkillers, and annoyingly they run out at different times of the month, and I order them with like a 7-day notice because they're useless. My other half has to go and pick them up for me because physically I can't go down and pick them up from the pharmacy, which is fine. And every time I order tablets or reorder what I need, they're never ready. They text me to say they're ready to be picked up, and then she goes down there and they don't have the right amount. And she's always been okay about that. It's never been an issue. Until the other week when she went down there, the pharmacist tried to have a go at her for the fact they didn't have them and that I should give more time. The thing is, because they're controlled drugs, as they're really strong ones, you're not allowed to order them all the time. You're only allowed to order them within a certain period of time. So they give you, like, I think it's 3 weeks where you can't order anymore, and then you can. So I can't order them any earlier. But yeah, they decided to have a go at her for it. And yeah, she made the pharmacist cry. Which is, you know, having a go at people that are trying to help isn't a good thing. I get that. E-Flag, good morning, how are you? Hope you're well. You shouldn't have a go at people trying to help you. Thanks for liking, much appreciated, whoever that was. And I don't condone making the pharmacist cry. It was a man, by the way. But at the same time, it is really amusing. Every time she walks into the pharmacy now, he goes and gets someone else's server. And she wasn't nasty, she didn't swear, but she just put them in their place, and yeah, they weren't happy. I was waiting for them to put a picture up and ban her from the premises, because that would have been amusing. But yeah, she's very good at getting her point across in a firm way, with no swearing, you know, without getting angry. She's very good at just giving that look. And that was definitely one of those times. Yeah, you're right, exactly. I think we wouldn't have an issue with punishing him. I get that he dropped it. I don't think it was on purpose. He says it's not on purpose, and I believe him. We weren't there, obviously. And I get punishing someone. That's not the issue. Like I say, the issue is the fact that the next day he's then told he's still being punished. What she should have done, if she was allowed to punish him, which she's not, he said to him there and then at the time, you're banned from playing today, and you're banned from playing anything tomorrow or the rest of the week or whatever. We would have then dealt with it, and, you know, in a different way. But to then him to go in the next day to find out he's banned again makes no sense. The worst thing is as well, so it's a Catholic school. Not because we're Catholic, but it's a really good school because of its values based on the religion and stuff. And they don't believe in proper punishments. They believe in not soft punishments, but trying to get children to understand their actions and how they affect others and that kind of stuff. The banning things isn't really in their, well, it's not in their behaviour guidelines, to be fair. It's more meant to be more about self-reflection. But this lunchtime supervisor decided to take it a little bit too far. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they say back, to be fair. The boy's fine about it. You know, he's not happy about being singled out. But he's good about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to their reply. It helps that my other half also works in a school, although it's a special needs school. She works in a school, so she understands all the guidelines and things, and yeah. It's quite amusing when you read the school's guidelines and find out they've not followed any of them. There we go. I still feel like I'm moaning a lot today. I apologise if I am, I definitely don't mean to. Good, glad you're good. Yeah, I actually am in a good place today. I feel really... Physically I don't feel good, but mentally I feel good. You would have lost it, I know. It's amusing. She's brilliant at handling these things. She only ever lets me handle them if she can't do anything and they don't listen to her. Then she lets me deal with it. But I tend to take things too far. I don't get angry. I'm very good at... I'm making sure they understand they're in the wrong, and I'll take it above the head if I need to, quite happily. Where she likes to be amicable and that kind of thing. Although she can lose her shit when she needs to. I definitely wouldn't want to go up against her. Let's put it that way. Come on. Get a bit caught up on something. I think there's a rock in the way there. But I don't know how many times we need to go up and down here. We'll go to the left hand side this time. We may need to come back on ourselves just to do the middle. We shall see in a minute. Obviously we'll try and do the middle at the same time to save a third trip. But it all depends if we can square it off. We're a little bit too far to one side, I think, there. How's that look behind us? Yeah, I don't like leaving a gap like that. It bugs me. And it's something that won't affect anything. It won't affect the convoy or anything, leaving that kind of gap there. I know it's there, so it bugs me. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I think actually we should be able to do this in two. I don't think we'll need to come back down the middle, to be fair. Should be able to just go all the way along and it won't be an issue. The roller will probably have to come down 3 times. The roller is not quite as wide as the asphalt layer, although it's wider than the base roller. It's the DLC roller, it's the really good one. But it is slightly smaller than the asphalt layer, so a normal road normally takes 2 runs. As this is a bigger, wider road, this is double, this will probably take 3, to be fair. No gaps though, which is good. So I get very angry at people when I'm on the phone. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I'm quite bad. And I know it's not the person you're talking to's fault. You know, whenever you ring up to complain about something, and I don't complain very often. I'm more of a, I like an easy life, I don't see the point in complaining a lot of the time. When you do ring up to complain, I tend to take it out of the person on the phone, and I know you should. It's not their fault. But they're your point of contact. And my other half's always telling me off for doing it. She's like, well, it's not their fault. You know, having a go at them doesn't solve anything. No, but it helps me because my frustration is out. I get it's not their fault, but they're the one you're talking to. But the thing is, nowadays, it's hard to talk to actually a physical person. It's all AI. To actually be able to put any kind of complaint or support in. And you have to answer all these questions, and it's not a real person you're answering, and oh, it's ridiculous. I'm not against AI. I think it's really useful in a lot of ways, but don't want to speak to an AI when I ring someone up. I want to talk to a company. I want to speak to someone who can actually tell me things, rather than just ask questions the whole time and get nothing in return. But I'm not really with the way of the world these days. I'm too old-fashioned in that way. But it's just one of those. I don't like AI on voice calls. I want someone I can actually talk to and, you know, will actually understand what I'm asking for. Okay, that is the asphalt done. We can now jump into the roller, and then this road will be complete, and then we just got to do the bits that spur off this one. And then that'll be job done. And then we can get all the 3 convoys going at the same time, and we'll move on to probably doing a bridge over the other side, or potentially going to knock down them 5 buildings. Maybe we're going to do that next. But we just need this and the spurs done so we can then set off all the convoys as well. Right, we do want to build on the edge a bit here, mainly because it would extend the road ever so slightly out. Not massively, but enough that you gain a little bit extra width on the road. And it always leaves a little bit of the asphalt not rolled, no matter where you go on the edge. I think that's what pushes this out a little bit. And that extra bit of width can be helpful, especially when more than one convoy is doing the same route, but also when you need to overtake the convoy because they're driving really slowly. So I try and make the roads as wide as we can, just to allow for overtaking and things. But yeah, we'll come back down the middle, I think, and then we'll go back up. That should only be 3 runs, hopefully. I know this side is saying it's done, obviously. It's not fully, but it is showing green, which means it's rolled enough. But yeah, the extra bit of width sometimes does make a difference. But these new, I think it's 3 new all-terrain vehicles coming in the next week or 2, hopefully. No one's exactly sure on the exact date just yet. I did see the list of what they are, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I think, yeah, I don't know. All I know is they're all-terrain. 3 new vehicles. I don't know if they're free or if it's paid for DLC pack, I'm not sure. But when they're out, we'll have a look at them as well. You have to answer loads of our questions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's the worst bit, is when you answer all these AI questions and then it either doesn't send you anywhere, tells you to go and look at a website, or hangs up on you. I've just spent the last hour answering all these questions and I've got nowhere. Yeah, bugs the hell out of me, that does. But it is the way of the world these days, isn't it, unfortunately? Kind of got to accept that's the way things are going. Annoyingly. Ah, there's actually a bit of asphalt we missed there. I would go and refit it, but we're kind of done with this road in a minute, so I don't see the point. I don't mind the little bit of potholes. If you don't have potholes in a road, it's not realistic, is it? If you're not from the UK, you may not quite understand what I mean, but roads in the UK are really bad, in really bad conditions at the minute. And there's meant to be a fund to fix all these holes and stuff, but they don't seem to ever fix it. Oh, actually, I've just seen a bit there we've missed. What's going on there? I must have been too far to the left-hand side when we came the other way from there. These other little divots and stuff that you can see not rolled there, they're because we've enough sand or enough asphalt down. But yeah, just making it more realistic for the UK, really, with all these potholes and issues with roads. Missed the whole bit there again as well. I know when you complete the road, it will flatten everything you've missed to a certain amount anyway. But because I know I've missed it, I can't leave it. The deviations where there's not enough asphalt or enough sand down, I can't go around those now, but the bits I'm actually missing, I can go back and re-roll them, that's the thing. Oh, wavy. I don't want to be wavy. Right, I think we've got one more run to do, and that will go green. I just missed the whole section though. Yeah. Yeah, the few deviations, potholes, I think I needed for realism. Not that I'm doing it on purpose, but just adds a little bit of realism for real roads. I wonder if other countries in the world have the issues with roads that we do. Because our roads are in a really bad state. And although we pay car tax, which is meant to be basically fund the road systems, it's a tax we have to pay 6 monthly or yearly on a vehicle. And it depends on the vehicle how much you pay, but it's meant to pay for the roads, it's meant to fund them essentially. But there's just never enough. And I know the governments and councils, you know, will happily say there's not enough money and stuff. And they are right. But the state of the roads is because every time they go and fix a hole in a road, they use a temporary fix rather than something long term. So obviously it never lasts long enough. And the amount of cars on the roads is a lot more than it used to be. So when a lot of these roads were first built and laid, they weren't designed for the amount of traffic we have today. So obviously the road surface can't cope. And because they do a temporary fix rather than a permanent fix, because it's more cost effective, and it means they don't have to close the road as long, it just doesn't last anywhere. And then they wonder why they've got to keep going back to the same hole. But it's all money, isn't it? Even though we pay for it. Yeah, UK roads are horrendous. I'm curious about if around the world it's the same issue. Because a lot of roads around the world were built before the amount of cars we have today. I would assume it's similar elsewhere. That's the thing. Last bit. There we go, road complete. As I say, we'll flatten some of the bits I missed after it's completed anyway. Right, that's another infrastructure mission complete. So we've done the main road here, but that isn't all. So because we've got three convoys we need to do, we still need to make roads. So our first convoy, this one here, is from our base to the concrete slab facility over the bridge. So obviously we need a road that makes its way to that bridge, which I think will pass through the quarry, looking at that. Yeah, I think we make a road pass through the quarry over here and down that way. Either that or we can put it round. We don't want to build a road through the quarry, actually. I think we build a road to the base and come round. I think it's probably the better idea. I don't really want to fill a quarry with a road. So what we need to do now then is spur off this road ourselves with sand, come round here to this bit, and then go up towards the quarry, come across here, and make a road to the coastal base. And then once that road is done, we need to come back out towards the bridge, and then probably across the bridge as well, because this facility isn't the best in terms of getting stuff to. Where's the end point? In fact, there. Okay, yeah. So we might have to do a road around this edge maybe to come in this side, or we need to come around here. I don't know if it will allow us to put a road in here because of the building when it finally gets built. So that's our next point. So although we've finished the mission road, we still have things we need to do to make this work. So we're going to jump into the Baker heavy dump truck. This is the normal version, not the rusty version, so this will be better than the previous. Although it was the AI driving, not us. And we need to put sand down now for this new route. So we want to come off this road along here. We're going to end up sending 3 convoys in succession, I think, by the end of this. Right, I want to make sure there's not a gap, that's the only thing. We won't have an issue now of refilling either, because we're now within the quarry zone, so we won't have that issue anymore. We can just keep refilling as we go. The only issue is I struggle to put sand down evenly, should we say. But at least it'll just be a case of start refilling as we go. So we're going to go to this junction here and then head right. So where, in fact, let's quickly jump into this vehicle, but you need to quickly move this out of the way. There we go. Okay, sand is all full again. I need to remember to put the handbrake on every time we stop. You think in Germany if there's a section of road needs fixing, they use one vehicle and they don't close the road. Oh, really? Yeah, I think we tried that previously, didn't we? The tracked log carrier. We'll just quickly remind ourselves which one it is. If it's what I'm thinking it is, then yes, you're right, it's extremely slow. It was the new one. Where is it? Is it that one? No, it's wheels. I'm sure we've used it. Oh, that one, the log forwarder, this one here. Yeah, I liked it in terms of how the crane works and everything else, but you're right, it's extremely slow. It's the same as the new tree cutter. I feel like cutter's the wrong word, but tree harvester. I find that one really slow and annoying as well. I still prefer the crayfish. I definitely think some of the new vehicles don't help us. You know, the new Wayfarer with the crane, really helpful. Just not amazing. It's a bit slow at times and not amazing on some of the conditions. But yeah, that's really useful. But some of the vehicles I've had recently are just pointless. The new cable layer I don't think is as good as the previous either. But we do try and use all these vehicles just to see what they're like. And yeah, I think some obviously we won't use again. We've tried them once, there's no point. Some they've got right though. But yeah, it's fine if you're not moving the logs very far, I think, that cable layer, that log forwarder. But it's just slow to get anywhere. But the tracks do help in the conditions. That's the thing. Sometimes when the mud's really bad, the tracks are the best bet to get through it. But yeah, I think the worst thing is the tree cutter, the logger that they put, which is basically a tractor back end and the cutter on the front. But again, you're meant to reverse up to cut things, otherwise it doesn't work correctly. You're meant to reverse up to the tree essentially and do it backwards, which is annoying. And it's definitely not as good as a crayfish. Right, we're getting there. We're at the junction now that we talked about. So we need to head to the right here and come along here towards the quarry. It's always going to take time, this bit, but this is something we need to do to get 3 different convoys on the go. And to avoid us having to keep coming back and fixing them, that's the other thing. If we don't do this, the convoys will never make it. And we'll just have to keep coming back and sorting them out. Which means we then can't do anything else. And I think each convoy needs to make 5 runs in total for all the rewards. So it makes sense for us to make sure they can do it easily without any issues. This also, the bay cow can hold the most sand out of all the dump trucks. 40 ton I think it is. The tracked one only holds 20. So the bay cow, even though they've added new vehicles for doing this, new heavy dumpers, they don't hold any more than the bay cow. I was hoping the new Wayfarer would hold more, but it holds the exact same. But it's a lot more awkward to use, even though the bed's bigger as well, but it holds the same amount. It's just a lot more awkward to use from what we've found so far. When we used it Tuesday stream, we used it for the other road, then the other base off the other side of the quarry, and yeah, it's useless really. You find some track vehicles giving some just I think I like the fact they're giving you choice though. It's not just one vehicle for everything. There is choice there. I think it's probably personal opinion how you drive and use these things, but yeah, there's a lot of them you do think, what was the point? I'd say the new Wayfarer dumper, it's just rubbish. Its central of gravity is wrong. It falls over easily. Yeah, some of that's driver error, but it's just so unstable that it makes no sense to use it. And I'd use the Baykal all day. I think the tracked heavy dumper is good, but only holds half the amount of sand the Baykal does, so you run out so easily. And the Baykal over the whole base game and first DLC has proven itself in all conditions. So I do think it's the best heavy dumper out there. I really wanted the Wayfarer dumper to do well as well. When we started using it on Tuesday's stream, I was really hoping it would do well, but it's just not good. I know there was a patch as well after they released the vehicles to fix the centre of balance of both the dumper Wayfarer and the cargo carrier one that we used as well on Tuesday for those carrier materials. They fixed the centre of balance on both of those to make them less tippy. But it doesn't work with the dumper. It's still very, very tippy. Right, we're getting up to this junction here. Once we get to this junction, we need to head to the left. We're making decent progress. Yes, it takes time, mainly because you have to keep stopping and refilling. But needs must. I don't mind building roads. It don't bug me when we build them. I do enjoy doing it. They can be so time consuming. And I will say my laying of sand is definitely not as good as the AI does it. We don't have any name vehicles that have more diversity would be good. Yeah, no it would. You mean like their own brand? Yeah. I'm surprised there isn't branded vehicles, to be fair. Obviously it's a licensing issue, isn't it? But surely the money that comes with licensing would have been really good. As you say, Farming Simulator created its own kind of brand, Lizard, didn't it? But I think maybe the Wayfarers may be their own brand, to be fair. I know there are some real branded brands in this. I do think they've changed the sound of a lot of vehicles, I've noticed though. There are some vehicles now sound really meaty when they start moving and you start them up. They do sound really, really meaty, so I think that's new as a recent addition. And that's quite cool to actually hear them in that way. More sand. Don't know if we can do this. I might be able to. I want to put a little bit more sand on this turn here. Mainly because we are going to need to make that turn a little bit wider. There we go. Should be alright to do that now. Alright, through the water. Again, this is... Don't do it! No! Sort yourself out. There you go. Okay, we got away with it. It kind of tipped to one side, but we got away with it. I said we needed more sand on this corner to allow the longer vehicles to get round, but I think that may have been a bit too much sand. But we got away with it. It's because the wheels got caught up underneath the sand itself, hence why we went all over the place there. Sometimes some vehicles, and that was one of the issue with the Wayfarer as well. When you dump the sand out, it just goes underneath the wheels and it kind of makes a mess up. Yeah, they've got multiple wheel brands, haven't they? Still need to play that, to be fair. I own it, I just never really played it. It's something I've always wanted to do and just never got to. I may have to do it after we do... Obviously, once we finish this, we need to go back and finish Expeditions and Mud Runner game. Maybe we do Construction Simulator afterwards. It means there won't be a vote, though. Maybe. Because it's something I really wanted to do, and just never got a chance to do it yet. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we keep 2 streams a week, simulation style games. Because if they keep adding to this, we'll keep coming back to it. That's the thing. And I do like my simulation games. There's a new car mechanic simulator coming out this year. Demo's already on PC already, but there's a new one coming out some point this year. We just don't have a date as of yet. I'm looking forward to that. That's something I do in my own time more than likely. Me and my boy play the old one still. Currently doing up cars and then seeing which one's faster, who can set the fastest lap around the track and stuff between the 2 of us. And going to drag racing and stuff. He enjoys that. We have done episodes of it previously, but then it's just so time consuming. To do an episode of Car Mechanic Simulator would take me an hour to strip a car and rebuild it, then all the testing and stuff. An hour and a half, like a half an hour episode. But I do like the simulator games to a degree. There's so many simulators now out there. I don't know if anyone's looked at different simulation games. It's more on PC than on console, but they're ridiculous now. There's so many different ones, and you just think it's just taking it a little bit too far, I think, now. What did I see the other day? So there's a bar simulator, there's supermarket, there's a playing card one, you know, like Pokemon card one, but they've got their own brand of creatures, which is quite cool. I've played that, and my boy enjoys that one on PC. But yeah, recycling simulator. There's so many. Surgeon simulator. Simulate being a surgeon. Thief simulator as well. Crime scene cleaner. There are so many simulator games now. Whether they're all needed as much, I don't know, but there is a lot of them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think maybe we stick to always having a simulator game of some sort. I don't know, our plan's always changing to a degree, but yeah. But RoadCraft, MudRunner obviously, SnowRunner's episodic, I need to do lots more on that yet. It'll take us a very long time to finish, I think. Right, we're turning right here, we're following this road along, and then we're back up to the coastal base here, over here. We'll make the road go into the base. I don't quite know, in fact, we need to check where the route ends, really. That's coastal base to forward. Coastal base to forward base, which we haven't unlocked yet. We need to deal with that. That's a different issue. Although I think that's all main road. No, it's not all main road, is it? Yeah, that might be a different kettle of fish, because it looks like there is a main road, but it's now not a main road because it's all underwater. That's that road there. How are we gonna... Okay, somehow we've got to do that. Coastal base to forward base over here. That's a road... That's a convoy I'm not 100% sure on yet. Main base to coastal was the one I wanted to check. So where is this ending? There, okay. So we will need to do a road kind of to roughly here. It will stop us getting too close. And you can see there's 2 yellow doors, so there will be more convoys from there anyway. So we'll need to make that road to there. Then we need to come back out on this way, because we need to go... Oh, we need to destroy a tree that's there as well. I forgot about that. We'll need to do a road to this bridge down here, and then do another road across the bridge around this edge here, so we can deliver stuff to there. Lots of road building today. It seems to be our focus at the minute. It's all required for all these different convoys. Hopefully we'll get some bridge building done as well along the way today. But yeah, road building does take a bit of time. I also don't know if there's quarry reached over there, actually. That's something we need to check. How far the quarry reach actually is. It's all well and good me saying we need to go that far, but I don't know if the quarry reaches there. So this quarry does come all the way. We can do this bit round here. Okay, so the quarry doesn't reach fully across the bridge. So we might have to go a bit back and forth there, potentially. And there's no quarry we've found over this side as of yet, which is a little bit of an issue. Lots of pipes that need fixing over there, though. There's a goat, bus farming, construction, surgery. Yeah, there's loads. And I like a good simulation game, but some of them are a little bit too much. Keep going. Firefighter. Oh yeah, Firefighter and Police Simulator. I forgot about those. Police Simulator was free on PlayStation Plus a little while back. I don't know if it still is. Obviously they take games away. Unless it's the monthly ones where you keep them forever. I need to check if it's still there. That looked interesting, I just never got to it. So many games that I look at and, you know, look interesting, just don't have the time to get to it. And this is going for some new games daily. But, I'd say once we start KCD 2 as well, which hopefully will be in the next couple of weeks, depending on how much we've got to do in these DLCs when we finish the main story, which hopefully will be tomorrow. We'll start the vote for next main live stream game to take over once KCD 2 is done. I've got no clue what it's going to be at this point. I think I know what people are going to want based on what's been said so far. That new game at Crimson, I can't remember what it's called, Crimson Desert or whatever it's called. I think a lot of people have said to me about that one on the next vote. Obviously we've got Wolverine later on this year. That's something we're doing without the need for a vote. That's just going to happen on release. And GTA, I don't know if we're going to do that on release. You guys have the say on that one actually, GTA. We'll decide closest to release. You guys will vote on whether you want to do it on release or not. Depending what else we've got going on as well. But you guys have that choice. Because I don't mind either way, to be fair. A lot of games we don't plan release because we don't want to ruin the stories of people. That's why you guys get a say every time. Apart from Wolverine. I've been waiting years for that game. I just hope they don't ruin it. No, there's not enough hours in the day, exactly. You've got to think, if I struggle to play everything I want to play, and I can game daily, I'm very lucky in that regard. In one side of it, anyway, I'm lucky. The other side, not so much. I don't know how people manage it. The amount of people, like, I'm in a lot of these dad groups online, mainly because my other half wanted me to do it, and I read what they talk. I don't really play it for myself. I just read other people talk about, give advice if it's something I know enough about. But a lot of people, some of them are dad gaming groups, and the amount of dads on there that complain, you know, they don't have enough time to game anymore. How do people manage it and all that? And yeah, you don't realise how big it is until you see so many people talk about it. So many dads have sold consoles because they just don't use them anymore. You know, life gets in the way. But yeah, I think gaming is quite an important hobby for a lot of people to de-stress, just chill out. I think that's where a lot of these simulator games kind of come in. Something monotonous that you can just do fairly easily. Don't have to plan line other people. It's, you know, it's fairly simple to do. They do help in that regard to relax and just chill out. Wolverine. Yeah, like I say, my biggest concern with Wolverine is they make it family friendly. And if they do that, they've ruined it. That is my concern. Hopefully they won't, but these days, violence in games isn't really well received. I know YouTube has its issues with it. Anyway, so they try and make most things family friendly now because violence isn't acceptable. Oh, I'm not in active quarry zone. Where's that run out? Oh, I'm just outside it. Literally just. There we go. That's how close I was to the active quarry zone. Well, we're getting there. I think we just need to go up to this gate bit, really. I don't think we need to go too much further. It will stop us anyway, to be fair. And at least that's that bit done. And then we need to spur off to the side and do the bit to the bridge. Once you've gone to the bridge, we'll stop there and then we'll actually lay the road properly here. But we'll get to the bridge first. Yeah, this will stop me when I get too close anyway. And this is quite a hard surface here, to be fair. It's not like it's muddy or anything, so you don't have to worry too much. Okay, So what we'll do, we can swing round here rather than go back on ourselves and have issues trying to get across the sand we put there. And go round this way. And then back up after going through this bit. We need to go and destroy that log that's there first, because we won't be able to do anything that way otherwise. We're making good progress though, we are getting there. As I say, there's just a couple of bits more to do, and then we can start doing everything else. The grading and the asphalt lane itself. We'll join this corner. So this bit needs a lot of sand to put in the mud. We'll also make the corner as well, if any vehicles need to turn. I don't mind tipping a bit of sand out around this area, we're going to need it all anyway. Don't get stuck. The concern is I'm about to beach myself. Yeah, I thought I might do it. Come on. There we go, we can get round this way. I need to send something out to destroy that big tree that's there. It's in our way. We'll do in a second, and then we'll follow this round. So we're getting there. Obviously, the sand is the time consuming, but everything else is quite nice and flows in nicely. We're laying the sand that takes the time. Right, that can stop there. We need the tree crusher currently, I think, is a little bit too far away, so we'll use something else instead of that. Normally, we'd just use the tree crusher. Let's use the kite. It should be okay to deal with it. So there is a big old tree blocking the road that we're building currently to get to the bridge. Still don't quite understand why the base of the bridge is there, but we can't build it. Normally it would just give you the materials needed to build the bridge on the base that's there, but for some reason there's no option for it. I don't think we have to unlock anything for that option to appear either. It's just not there. Now this is the tree we was on about. Activate muncher. Can this do it? Need the sound to actually make the certain noise for it to count. There we go. Come on. There we go. I don't think there's anything else in the way. We'll leave the kite to one side here just in case, but I don't think there's anything. I mean, there you go, it's gone now. We'll just put it to one side just in case we do need it. I don't think we will, but you never know. There we go. Right. Back into the heavy dumper. Reverse a little bit to put in this bit of mud here. Your wife's older sister was a big game since having a little mission and enough time to play. Oh, she's got the old Nintendo. Nice. I do enjoy the old ones. My other half, a few Christmases ago now, bought me one of those Sega Mega Drive all-in-one things. Don't do it. Come on, get yourself back over. Well done. And I don't use it. I thought I would, and she thought I would, but I think this is where I've started to realise I'm a little bit more of a graphics snob than I thought. Although I'd say graphics snob, I think more age of game snob. But a lot of the old games on the Mega Drive systems that have like 200 games in one system, I just don't enjoy them. There's not enough to them nowadays, and you know I grew up with those kind of games. But I never realised till looking back on them now how linear they are, or how little story there is. You know, or how little the story actually does for the game itself. It's only now, when we're kind of spoiled by the games we have and the stories they tell, that you realise how different we have it these days to what we did have. And I used to love loads of the old games. You know, when I played them years ago, they were brilliant. But compare them to these days, there's so much more. And even a way to take the graphics out of it, the story that games can tell these days, and the amount of things to do in games these days compared to the old games, is so different. And I never thought that would be a big deal for me, but it really is. It just shows how much things have moved on, really, more than anything else. You know, when I was a kid, I would never have thought we'd have a game like this, to be fair. Back then, it wasn't conceivable that this would be a thing. And I think that's the same with a lot of games these days. If you look at what we can actually play now, how we can play, the multiplayer online games, thousands of players playing at the same time. When I was a kid growing up and we had different consoles and PCs and stuff, never would have thought it would be a thing. Never thought it would be a possibility. You know, even streaming. It was never in my plan, my wheelhouse to stream ever. It was only, you know, fate had its way and things happened to cause what it's caused. But I could never have conceived growing up that this would be a thing, let alone I'd be doing it. Although saying that, pre-accident, if you'd said I'd end up streaming on YouTube, I would have said, you're kidding, it doesn't interest me. Before the accident, I barely watched YouTube. That's the thing. A bit wayward here, so we're just going to put a bit more down here. But we're just following this road round to the bridge and then we'll be done with the laying the sand. Grading it, we can grade it all in one. I don't think we'll need to come back on ourselves. And the asphalt laying, we'll just see how wide we can go. Whether we need to do it more than one run. I don't think we will in a lot of places. I'm not laying enough sand down. It's going too quick for the sand to actually lay recently. It can be a little bit rough with laying the sand because the spreader, I know it's not grader, that's what I was after. The grader does make it work quite well. Teenage Ninja Turtle Street Fighter when you walk sideways. Yeah, can't play anymore. I know, it's weird, isn't it? Your favourite game, Alter Beast. I've not heard of that. I don't think I've heard of that. I may have done. I don't recognise it. But yeah, I used to love Double Dragon as a kid. Double Dragon was incredible. But I've seen it now and I look at it and go, I don't know how I enjoyed that. Showing my age a little bit, to be fair. The other one was also GTA. When GTA first came out, I remember playing that on the Amiga. And yeah, top down, so different to what you got now. As I say, definitely in a good way. I think the way stories have moved on and storytelling in games has progressed is incredible. It really is. I don't know, gaming gets blamed for lots of social issues. You know, kids going out and being violent because they've played a violent game. I disagree that it's fully the game's fault. I'm not saying it's completely innocent in it though, because there is some element of some kids believe what they do in a game can be done in real life. So games aren't fully free of blame there, but there's a lot more to it than just the game that is the issue. Wizard, and once you get so many, you turn into. Oh really? Okay, I might have to have a look at that. I think that's an old style game then, I assume. But yeah, that's the thing. I think it's so easy to blame games as a whole for lots of issues in society, when sometimes you need to look closer to home. You know, a child needs to know right from wrong at the end of the day. If they don't know that as a fundamental part of growing up, then that's an issue for the parents more than the game. But it's like my other half, because she works in a SEND school, she said before, she's got boys there that play video games, and it's good for them to play video games, but they then believe they carries on. Like they believe that, you know, they restart. If they get hurt in real life, they'll restart like they do in a game. And I think that's where the difficulty lies, is trying to manage that psychological expectation for some people. That's where I think I was a little bit concerned about VR and how realistic that would be, to the point that people would finish a VR game and when they took the goggles off believe they were still in the VR game. I think there was always a scope of worry for that. It hasn't really manifested, to be fair, but there was always that concern. Sega Mega Drive, wow. I remember that. The original FIFAs, I don't think it was called FIFA back in the day, but they were on the Sega Mega Drive as well. Chameleon Kid was one of my favourite ones growing up. Chameleon Kid, Double Dragon. Yeah, endless. That's when life was simple. No worries at all as a kid. Yeah, there has been some cases. I mean, like you say, there has been. It's definitely not as much as I thought there would be. I thought there'd be more. It'd be more bigger than it actually is, which is a good thing. It's not. So I think they've got away with it quite a bit. But yeah, as like I said, my other half with the Sen school, they have kids that believe that life is a game because they've played a game similar. You know, I'll be careful how much I give details away, but things like running into roads because they think if their car hits them, they'll restart. They don't think there's actually any consequences to actually running in the road and the car actually hitting them. Because in a game they've done the same thing and it just restarts the level. So I think there is that. Games do have some part to play in that psychological side of things, but I don't think it warrants the blame they get. Violence in games, I don't think it's as bad as it makes out. That's the thing. I think it's an easy thing to blame though as well. And I think that's the big issue, is it's so easy to blame a video game for issues that go on in society when actually there's a few other people to blame first, like parenting, upbringing, you know, poverty plays a big part as well. Peer pressure and stuff like that. Yeah, I think games do get a bad rap when it comes to a lot of blame culture on who's at fault and stuff, which I don't think it deserves. And I think in some way it kind of hamstrings developers, you know, and this is my concern for Wolverine, is because there is this thing about gaming making kids violent and stuff if they play it, and age ratings are all well and good, but a parent can overrule that by letting their child play a game that maybe psychologically they're not ready to play. That's the thing. I think that's something that parents need to have a think about when they're deciding whether a child can play a game or not. Is it's not necessarily the age limit on the game itself, but actually, is your child psychologically ready to play that? You know, I do it with my boy. He's asked to play certain games, and some have said yes, some have said no. He's a boy that overthinks things, that worries a lot, has a bit of does have anxiety. You know, everyone's got anxiety these days. But he does, and the last thing I want is him playing a game that means he's not going to sleep, or he's going to worry about things in real life because of it. So, you know, he may be old enough to play a certain game, but at the same time, psychologically, he may not be ready to. I think that's the thing more parents need to look at rather than just the age. Golden Axe, yeah, Golden Axe is brilliant. Ready Player One was really good. Yeah. No, I have seen it. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. But it's like a lot of people at my boys' school play Roblox, and it's one game me and my halves said no to. We've never played Roblox, and not because there are some scary things people have put in the servers and stuff. That's not the issue. It's the lack of control over adults joining children in the game, I think, is my issue more than anything else. And I know he's sensible, he won't give details away about himself, and he won't, you know, he's not going to fall for stuff like that, but why risk it if we don't have to? But I also think there's that social pressure, isn't there? When a kid sees all their friends playing a game and they're the only one not, there is that element of bullying comes into play, being excluded because they don't play the games their friends play. Which again, I think is down to how we bring up children and teach them things. Just because someone else doesn't have something doesn't mean they're in the wrong or they're worse or anything like that. You know, they should be more inclusive. It's the way the psyche is though nowadays. I'm not preaching, I'm trying not to. That's just my viewpoint. But yeah, we have that in my boy. Because a lot of his class play Roblox, and it's just never going to happen. Don't agree with it at all. I think the developer is at fault a lot for Roblox and the issues it has. And they'll say they're making improvements and making security better, but it's not enough. It really isn't. Same as what they watch on YouTube though as well. Like my boy doesn't use YouTube Kids anymore. He did watch YouTube Kids for quite a while, but it's so limited on what you can watch. It just seemed pointless. It's more for really young children and not for kids his age. So he watches normal YouTube now, but we still monitor what he watches and how long he's watching stuff for. You know, he's not one of these kids that spends day in, day out 18 hours a day on his iPad. We monitor it quite a lot without trying to stop him as well. We monitor it to the point that it's safe, but without trying to get in the way of what he wants to do as well. You know, he has that leeway. It is hard though, I think, as parents as well, of knowing what's right at the time for your child. It's not as simple as one case fits all, is it? That's the thing. The world these days is such a different place to what it was. It really is. I don't remember ever having these kind of worries as a kid, or even my parents even. You know, watching what you play and stuff wasn't a big thing back then. I think the worst thing as well, people say the world's got worse. You know, there's more paedophiles around, there's more violence. I don't think it has got worse. I think the fact the news is so in your face these days, things can be reported more than they used to be. I don't think things have got worse. I just think there's more people see what's going on more than they used to, because there's more ways to find this information than there was before. That's the thing. I think the world was always the way it is. It's just now more in your face than it used to be. But I do think my generation has grown up in a very good and bad position in a way. You know, the technology we've seen come and go, things starting to where they are now. Compared to a lot of generations, I think we're quite lucky in that respect. So I think we appreciate technology more. Whereas you got kids these days that grew up with having phones around 24/7. You know, don't know what dial-up is anymore, or cassettes and things. And yeah, I think they have it too easy in a way. But yeah, I don't mind giving my opinion, but I don't want to preach. That's the problem. But an old GT, I said to her, do you know it's 15, 18 years again? So yeah, I think that's also something with parents. So kids ask for a game, and the parent doesn't know enough about it, so they just say yes. I think a lot of the time there is that not knowing. Maybe the parents should ask more questions, to research themselves maybe. But sometimes they just want to say yes to their child, and yeah, they don't realise what's in the game, what's involved in it, and how bad it actually is, until it's too late. I don't know, that's not necessarily the parents' fault. In some ways they can do more, but it's just the way it is now. You need to research these things and double check, rather than saying yes. You know, if my boy asks for a game, I'll check it out, I'll have a look and go, I'm not sure you should play that. But I always give him the reasons why as well. Like Roblox, we've explained to him, sat him down, and explained why he's not playing it. So he understands all the reasons, rather than just saying a blanket no. I think you've got to give the child credit and actually explain things to them, because otherwise they're going to end up resenting the parent, aren't they? And when the other children take the mickey out of them for not playing it, that resentment's going to really grow towards the parent. That's the thing. I think that's also. I think a lot of this issue between parents and children as well, and we are slightly at fault with how we raise our boy because of it as well, is sitting down at the table and having dinner. It's kind of disappeared in a lot of families these days. But I think that was quite a big thing growing up. You talk about your day, you talk about what you're doing at school and stuff. I think in a lot of ways that's gone. Now pre-accident we always sat down and had dinner at the table together. Even before my boy was born and a stepson, we'd always, every day we'd sit down and dinner at the table. Since the accident I can't sit at the table comfortably any period of time. The chairs just don't work for me. So we don't eat at the table anymore. Well, my boy has a mini table that he sits at and eats at, that we eat with on a lapsed majority of the time now. And it's not good. but we still talk about our days, you know, and that kind of stuff. But I think that's something that's missing a lot of households, mainly because the pressures to provide for your family work-wise, money-wise, as well. It's not parents' fault for not being able to sit down, because parents have to work so much now to make ends meet. It takes away from that family element of being able to sit and chat. Never been a gamer. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some people it's a different world, isn't it? And they don't really, they don't know what it's like, so they just say yes because they want their child to be happy, which sometimes isn't a good thing. It's a difficult one to judge, though, isn't it? What's the right thing to do and what's not? You know, we definitely don't get it right with our boy all the time. That's the thing. I think the one thing we do really well is the communication with our boy, and you know what he's doing and feeling and going through at school and stuff. That's the one thing we do pride ourselves on. And even with me and the accident and the injuries and stuff, I've been criticised quite a few times now for telling him too much and giving him too much information, because then he worries about it. But at the same time, from the day the accident happened, I've always explained as honestly as possible what's going on, where we're at, you know, how this will affect things going forwards. I've never once lied to him or left anything out. I've always made sure he had all the information, because I don't want him thinking we're keeping things from him when we don't need to. You know, we should understand how this is going to affect us and his family. You know, when he wants me to go and play football, you know, I don't want him resenting me for not being able to play. I'd rather he understood why I can't. And although that might be obvious, you know, I can't use my foot correctly and stuff, I still want him to have that information. But I've been criticised quite a bit by other parents and family and stuff for just not keeping it to myself, to actually give him the information. But I don't lie to him. It's one thing I've always said, I won't lie to my child. I also don't make promises. That's also something else I don't do. Mainly because I think it's too easy to promise things to a child, and then when you fail to deliver, even if it's no fault of your own, I think that's bad. So I'd rather just not promise anything. Doesn't mean that we don't do things. I will say it in a different way. Yeah, I don't ever promise him anything. Just because I don't want to then end up disappointing him when it doesn't happen. But yeah, with the injuries, I've always kept him in the loop. Same as the operation, you know, he's worried about it a little bit at times. And that is part of it. Part of that is because we've gave him all the information, to be fair. But I think it's important for him to know exactly what's happening and why. Right, we're into the asphalt layer now. We've graded it all. Asphalt layer time. We are making good progress. It is getting there. We just need to head up. Is it this way? No, we need to turn this round. I thought it was going the wrong way. So we need to asphalt lay it all, and then we just need to roll it. Then that's all the spur offs done, as well as all the road towards the bridge. Then we can set the convoys up, and we can go and do something else. So we should be done with all this road building pretty soon, and then we're going to decide whether we're going to go and build some bridges, smash some buildings, or make some materials. Essentially, I think. I think what's going on, they get confused why I'm on the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the other thing, is parents promise things and they don't deliver, and then there's a resentment there. I'd just rather he knew everything. You know, we don't keep anything from him. The downside to that is he worries more, because he then knows everything and there is that concern. But we try and explain it as best we can, explain the unknowns and stuff as best we can. But that's, as I say, I think that's the big thing we do well as parents, I think, is communication. And I think that's why a lot of kids suffer these days, because of a lack of communication sometimes. Because it is, and I'm not criticising parents at all, because everyone's done it at different times. But it's so easy just to say, yeah, go and play on that, or go and sit on your iPad, because you've got other stuff you need to be doing. It's such an easy out, but it's so bad at the same time. But one of my biggest bugbears actually is restaurants and kids at tables with devices. I just don't understand it. You know, that's the time we should be chatting to each other. But you see it all the time. Now, I'm not saying we've never done it. We had several times when we've been in a restaurant, food has been delayed for quite a while, and he starts getting antsy and stuff, and yeah, we'd give him a phone to watch something while waiting. We had it years ago in Wales. Was at a restaurant there and was away for a little while, and I think we'd waited an hour for the food. It was something ridiculous. And then they ended up bringing the adult food before the child's food, which is even worse. But yeah, we'd waited so long, and he was quite young at the time, so we gave him a phone to watch because it'd been that long. There's only so much colouring he can do at the end of the day. So I'm not saying there aren't times to do it, but yeah, I think it's too easy to do it. Relatives of my other half, they do it with their daughter, or have done it with it, well, still do, to be fair. Whenever they eat out, even if it's a family thing, she's not having conversations with people, she's on her iPad at the dinner table while everyone else is eating. You know, I just don't think it's a good thing for people. That is just an opinion on my part. I'm not criticising people. There are, you know, different reasons to do it, but that's a no-no from me. Doesn't make me better than anyone or anything like that. Just the way we're brought up. Not just my son, but also my stepson as well. And I think we've done a really good job of that, if I do say so myself. You know, exactly, yeah. They understand why they can't. Yeah, exactly. Why they understand why they can't have something or do something, whether it's financial or what. Yeah. But your brother falls into that, does he? That's the thing. My other half moans at me for buying stuff for my boy all the time. He'll ask for something, and I don't say no very often, admittedly. But some of that I think is guilt more than anything else. I mean, pre-accident, I probably would have said no a lot more. Not because we didn't have the money, but more because, I don't know, I did. Since the accident, I say yes a lot more. And a lot of that is guilt. From not being able to do certain things with them. Trying to make it up through that kind of financial means, and that's definitely not a way to be. I shouldn't be doing it, admittedly. I know I shouldn't, but I still do. But then he's not one that asks for that much, to be fair. My stepson was brilliant though as a child. He'd never ask for anything. You go to a zoo or an attraction or something and say to him, right, it's going to get you, you can have something, do you want something? He'd never ask for anything. Because he just didn't want to ask for money. So he would never ask for anything at all. Which made it worse at birthdays and Christmas, because he just didn't ask for anything. And he's still, well, he's not as bad these days, you know, he's into his aftershave and stuff now. As he's in his 20s, but yeah, he was just one of those kids that just wouldn't ever ask for anything. Some of that stems from the fact that before me and my half were together, obviously, she was a single mum, and they didn't have the money. So some of that came from that. He didn't ask because he knew there was no money. But when we've had money and stuff, he still would not ask. Which kind of bugged me at the time, because he did make birthdays and Christmas unbearable. Because he just would never ask for anything. Whereas my boy now is different to that. He will ask for things. But he's also, I think he's sensible with it. We have taught him the value of money and stuff. And he understands that, you know, I'm not working. Yes, we have the insurance and stuff, but that's potentially going to last me forever. And it won't do that, that's the thing. But occasionally he'll have his moments. I want this game. You wanted to, I bought you a game yesterday. Yeah, but now I want to try this one. No. Although I do tend to say yes. Bugs my laugh. To be fair, I've started recently saying to him when he asks me, go and ask your mum. Knowing full well she'll say no. More than likely. He hasn't cottoned on to why I'm doing it yet. But he will do though. He's quite an intelligent boy. He'll soon cotton on. And then not ask his mum, just keep asking me. Currently I get away with it. Yeah, I'm definitely too soft. And as I say, I think some of that is the guilt because of the accident and because of not being able to do certain things. So when he asks for things, it's my way of kind of making it up to him for him having such a hard time since the accident, and you know, he does miss out on things because of it. And it's definitely not the right way of trying to make it up to him. But I can't help it, that's the thing. I do blame myself for where the situation we're currently in, even though, you know, legally it wasn't my fault, and it's been explained definitely it's not my fault medically and all that stuff, but I still blame myself. I'm the one that's caused this. I'm the one that's, you know, stopping us going and having these family days out sometimes because I'm struggling massively. So that guilt's there, that he misses out compared to some children. But then he has more than other children have in other ways. But because of that guilt, it does make me say yes a lot more to him. And even understanding that's what I do doesn't make me I can stop it either, that's the thing. Right, we're just going to make sure this corner is as good as possible to allow big vehicles to turn. We are making good progress though. We nearly got to the other base to do that bit of asphalt, and then we've got asphalt to the bridge. Roll it all, and then we can crack on. We've got plenty of time. An hour and a half of the stream left for this morning, so still plenty of time. I know lots of road building today, but this is... And that's the big thing with RoadCraft. I know road is in the name, obviously. But I think the big thing is doing the infrastructure, putting stuff in place to make other missions so much easier because you've spent the time putting that infrastructure in place. And although it can take a lot of time to do, it makes everything else so much easier in the long run. You know, you can make the game harder for yourself by not doing a lot of this infrastructure. There's nothing worse than to keep going back to the convoy and reset it, redo the lines, all because you won't put the road down. You know, we've learned from experience that it's better to do the infrastructure as soon as you need to do it, rather than not doing it at all. It makes convoys so much easier to manage, especially when they can be doing their thing while you're off doing other things as well. I think that's the big thing. It saves you that time in the long run. But we're making progress. That's the important part. We have completed one mission today, and that was the original road we built. That's one mission complete at least. Parents taught you the value of money. You have to buy it yourself. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my parents, well, we had very little money growing up, really. And, yeah, a lot of the time I paid for school trips myself from pocket money and... sorry, not pocket money, I didn't get pocket money. From side jobs and things. I used to work after school in a glazing factory for a while, and that money would pay for school trips because my parents didn't have it. That's the thing. You know, paper, I had 3 or 4 paper rounds. And you see a decent money by the end of it for that, to be fair. But it was so I could then have school trips and things, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone on any. We just didn't have the money when I was a kid. I think that's also one of the other reasons I say yes a lot to my boy. Is also because I didn't have these things as a kid, so it's kind of allowing him to have the things that I couldn't have in a way. If that makes sense. So that on top of the guilt as well doesn't help. I still say no though. It's like he wants, when he wanted, he's kind of stopped asking now. But the new Pokemon Lego sets that come out, he wanted the big one. And it's like, no, can't justify that kind of money for a Lego set. That's just going to sit on a shelf at the end of the day. And we've got quite a few Lego sets and stuff. But he's still got Lego from Christmas he's not made, that he wanted. And yeah, I'm not paying £600 for something that's going to sit on the shelf. That's the thing. And yeah, I'd love to have it, but it's something I'm into. I just can't justify that kind of money though. That's the thing. It's like the insurance money though. He knows how much the payout was. You know, I gave his stepbrother a certain amount of money as a gift when we got the settlement as well. So he's got the same to him, but he can't have it till he's 18. But he knows that that we're okay in that regard. But he doesn't. He never uses that. That's one thing I'm really proud of. He doesn't try and use that as a reason when he asks things and we say no, because he will try and explain and give a reason to why he thinks he should have something, which I really like. And one thing I'm proud of is that he never uses that as a reason, whereas I think some people would. That's the thing. But it is, I think the big thing is understand the value of money, isn't it? Earning it for yourself, I think, plays a big part. As I say, amount of paper rounds and after-school jobs. I even worked as a caretaker in my school. I was 15. I used to finish school and then I'd go get changed and clean the classrooms and get paid for doing that. And that earned me really good money at the time. That's what enabled me to have so many school trips in the last couple of years of school. That's the thing. But it definitely taught me a lot about the value of money, and you know, you need to earn it to have it. One of the reasons why I've never been a fan of credit cards and stuff. I have them for emergencies mainly, and after the accident we had to use them to survive. But generally, I'm against them because it's not your money. I've never liked borrowing money or credit cards or loans and stuff. Yes, I've had them because I didn't have a choice, but I've never liked the idea of them. It's not your money. If you can't afford something, you shouldn't have it, essentially. The Hogwarts Castle, yeah. Well, like I say, I got that one for my other half the night for Christmas, but only because I got like £200 off it. Yeah, I think that's the thing when you can treat your half without any kind of guilt towards it, but it's still only as long as you can afford it, obviously. But yeah, I got like 200 quid off it. It was the only reason I got it for my other half. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had it. It's only because there was such a good deal on at the time that it made sense. Well, it made financial sense to do it because we'd never find that price again. To be fair, it's like the weekend we was in Stafford Walden. It's an old town looking around. Now my boy's got a phone. He's in the Pokemon Go again as well. Got me out of the house for a bit as well. And we was in a toy shop there, and they had some decent Lego sets in there. Nothing I was interested in. My boy would have liked some of them, but I said no, to be fair. But my other half saw a Harry Potter Lego set, and it's one of the ones that's retired. I always check these things when we're in the shop. I think it was 80 quid, 90 quid, something like that. But it's actually a retired set you can't buy. And its original sale price was twice what this shop was selling it for. Brand new inbox, never been opened. So I brought it there, and then she went, well, you know, we don't have to. So you will never find it, one, for that price again, and two, you may never find that set again in the wild. Even if you don't build it, leave it in the box, it's fine. But you will never find it again. So, you know, for that, we'll get it. But yeah, like I say, the big sets, it's got to be a decent offer, otherwise I don't buy them. I want the Avengers Tower, but I won't pay the money I want for it. It's like 400 quid. I'm not paying that for a tower that's going to sit on a shelf and gather dust. I'd love to build it, I really would. I love my Marvel and stuff, but for that money, I just can't justify it. I very rarely buy things for myself anyway, to be fair. And I don't ask for anything for birthday and stuff. My wife hates me for that. So I had my birthday recently and she was like, what do you want? I went, nothing. If I want something, I'll buy it. But I don't want anything. I don't need anything. That's the thing. And then she hates it because when it's her birthday, she gets quite a bit. And she's like, well, it's not fair. But it's always, I think that's the difficult thing when you're an adult, is because it's your money, you want something, you buy it. When it comes to birthdays and stuff, it's so difficult to then want something. I generally just say, give her the choice of a few Funko Pops and one of those will do. But yeah, generally, there's nothing I really want or need. I'm having a little bit of an issue with this bit here. I think there's a slight gradient, I think, which is why I'm having a few issues trying to keep this straight. I think it's catching a little bit on the sides. That's why it's turning to one side and I can't stop it turning. Having a few issues with this little bit here. We are nearly done with this, with laying the asphalt, that's the thing. I'm going to let it do what it wants to do for a minute, and then we'll have to come back and try again, a different angle. But yeah, it's not happy in this bit here. Don't do that. The one thing I need to do is turn that way. Right, stay straight. Asphalt layers can be very, very tricky to try and keep where you want them to be. They can have a mind of their own at times for different reasons, different. They catch on the side sometimes of different areas of grass and rocks, and that can throw it off completely, and you just can't turn when you're trying to move it because of a rock or something. Right, straight, please. So at the minute it won't go straight and turn left, which is why it turns to the right. I think there's a stone somewhere. Like sometimes you see just like do its thing and then come back on yourself. Stay straight. There you go, stay straight there. Website does this get Lego sets. Oh really? Okay, let's have a look. What site's that? How big's this really with Lego sets at the minute is room. We just don't have the room. We need more shelves and things put up. Where I do my videos like the scheduling stuff, that one, we need to put some shelves up there really. It's just a blank wall that needs more on it. But we can't really decide on what we want on it right, wall-wise. Whether we want pictures or shelves. But we've got stuff that we've made and there's no space for it. That's the thing. It's all well and good buying these Lego sets, but you still need to have them somewhere. There's no point just building one, putting it back in a box, I don't think. You're going to spend that kind of money on stuff, you need to have a display at least. But it is so tricky. Right, we are nearly done with the asphalting. This last bit to do to the bridge, and then that'll be job done. I'm not sure what we're going to do over the other side of the bridge just yet. I know we need to do a bit more for the convoy that needs to go over there, the concrete factory. So we may still need to do a bit more road over that way once this bit's done, which we may as well do straight away because that's another convoy that can be doing its thing. But it's not too much of a road though, luckily. I'll make sure this corner's correct. Didn't like going all the way to the bridge there. The reason we've made this turn so big is also so the longer vehicles can make the turn. Sometimes it's handy to have it as wide as you can, just to allow the bigger vehicles to make the turn. So we're just going to get that right with the asphalt. It's a little bit more uneven than I would like it to be fair. Might be something we need to watch out for when we actually put a convoy this way, because it is deviating massively to that side where the water is. I think that's how we were trying to grade it with the grader. Wasn't very good by the looks of things. It's kind of messed it up a little bit, I think. We definitely got the width we needed though. I just want this last little bit kind of done. Because AI vehicles can turn really weirdly sometimes. So we're just trying to allow for that a little bit. And then we just need to roll all this and then we'll have a look over the side. But we'll set one of the convoys off immediately, because that can be doing its thing once this is done. In fact, we can set that off once we've rolled the bit that goes from the main road we built to the base. We can actually set our first convoy off immediately. I think that's all we're going to be able to do there. Right, we'll get this parked up, we'll get the roller going. So once we've got rolled all the way to the base, that's the first base, we'll then set that first convoy off immediately, because that can then be doing its thing. So let's jump in the roller, which is over here. We are making decent progress. It feels like we're not achieving very much, mainly because we're doing the same thing. But it is all needed. Make our life easier and convoys easier. I was doing what they call book nooks. Oh yeah, I've seen those. They look really cool. Yeah, they are really interesting, to be fair. There's a decent Harry Potter one, which I think is the train. That my other half seen and would like. I just haven't got it. But yeah, the book nooks are really cool. I like the idea of them as well, because they're quite practical in that regard. They actually have a use, don't they? That's the thing, other than just sitting there on a shelf. But Lego is definitely catering more to adults these days. I know that they definitely are with the Pokemon stuff. And there's a lot of sets that are just for adults. That's why the price is so high. Although I was watching something the other day, it's talking about the price of Lego being so high and it becoming a lot more expensive than it used to be. But actually the price per brick is around the same as it used to be. You know, the price per brick hasn't changed in the set. But the amount of bricks in a set has changed and become more, and that's what's increased the price. But also the fact they're now aimed at adults, so they make them harder to build. You know, there's more involved because they're for adults than they are for kids. But it's definitely a change of direction that Lego have made on purpose. Because obviously kids don't have disposable income, do they? Whereas adults tend to have a bit more. But yeah, look, if you compare Lego to what it was when we were kids, it's so different now. When I was a kid, we had a big box of loose Lego that we got from like car boots and stuff. We actually never had any full sets when I was a kid. We couldn't afford them, to be fair. But yeah, we just had the box full of loose Lego. We just made things out of that. No instructions, did a thing, and that was it. Played Lego for hours. That's the other thing we found in the toy shop the other day was Warhammer. So when I was a kid, I really enjoyed Warhammer, really wanted to have it, play it. And as I got older and got my own money from side jobs and stuff, I actually bought Warhammer models myself. I obviously don't have any. When I left the army and stuff, I left them behind and never gone back. But we saw some in the shop the other day. It's so different from what it used to be. The old style Warhammer it's all changed to Age of Sigma now. But yeah, I love Warhammer. If my hands were steadier, I would probably get back into it. It'd be a very expensive hobby to get back into. And my hands aren't steady enough to paint the models. So it's not worth doing, unfortunately. But I would love to get back into it. My boy was interested in it until I explained about the painting the models and stuff. He was like, no, too much effort. Iron Man Lego doing. Yeah, I think it did. I think it did make us more creative in that respect because you didn't follow instructions, you just did it. Whereas now, you know, when my boy gets this Legos thing, he just follows the instructions. He doesn't deviate. He reads the instructions and follows them. Whereas we'd make our own houses and stuff out of just loose Lego. There was a lot more creativity back then, I think. Yeah, I've got quite a bit. I've got the what are they called? I've got quite a lot of different sets. I've got the Thanos Gauntlet is one of the Marvel ones I've got. The Daily Bugle, I got that for a really good deal a while back. That's made and sitting in a room upstairs that I can't see because I can't go up the stairs. Other half has got quite a lot of Harry Potter ones. The boys got a lot of Minecraft ones. There's several not built though that he wanted still. And then he's also got some of the mini Pokemon ones that aren't official Lego. They're mega, I think, did like Pokemon 30, got a few of those. But we've got too much. We haven't got the space for it. That's the problem. Thank you for the like, much appreciated, that was. It is lack of space that causes a big problem. But yeah, like I say, I would love the Avengers Tower, but I just can't justify it. It's a lot of money, as you can see on my shelf. Essentially. Same as the X-Men Mansion. I think the X-Men Mansion is retiring this year, from what I've seen, but it's still £200. And unless there's an offer on it somewhere, then I just can't do it. And £200 may not sound a lot, but it's just for something that's going to sit on a shelf, and it's going to take a lot of space up. I just can't justify it in my head. I just think it's a waste, and I don't like wasting money. Yeah, there are a lot that are very similar but different, aren't there? I've got like the dancing Groot in a pot. I've got that one, but I've seen others that I keep looking at. Well, I've got one. Do I need another Groot? The Wolverine claws I want actually, but I've not seen anywhere. I've not looked on the Lego website. I think they're retired. I've not actually looked for them, but that is something I wanted. They're also bringing out another, what's it called? The big ship in Avengers that the heroes have. I can't think for the life of what it's called. They're bringing out a new one of those. Less pieces, or more money, quite expensive. The original ones go for quite a lot of money nowadays, even second hand. But yeah, I haven't got one. I always wanted one, but they're massive. It's like the first £1,000 Lego set, wasn't it? Star Wars one. I think was it the Death Star or something? So it's the first £1,000 Lego set, which is just ridiculous. The Star Wars stuff sells like hotcakes. That's why there's so many different ones. One of their biggest selling brands, or licenses, I suppose you should say. You're going to sound older, you're better with spending. Yeah, I think that's one of those things that isn't taught in school. I think should be taught in school. You know, money and budgeting and stuff like that. I think that's something that really should be taught in school these days. I know we weren't taught it, but I think it should be. I think it's a big part of adult life that we've missed out on when kids learn these things. And a lot of it should be down to the parents to teach, but at the same time, sometimes they just don't, for different reasons. And I just think the school should do that. Budgeting is a big thing as an adult, and the child to know that early on would be good. You know, learning about pensions as a kid, I think would be quite good as well, especially these days, when by the time you can actually claim your state pension, you're going to be like 90 by the time it keeps going up. They don't teach it in school, really. Millennia Falcon. Yeah, another one. Millennium Falcon. But yeah, I think there's so many things like that they should teach. But then you have schools these days, primary schools, where kids are starting primary school at 4 or 5 years old and aren't potty trained, don't know how to brush their teeth and stuff. So getting the school to start teaching things like budgeting is more pressure on them, isn't it? Although you don't get it for older children, obviously. But you have social studies and stuff in schools nowadays as a lesson. So you actually be part of that. You know, looking after yourself in general. But a lot of people say it's not the school's place to do things like that, but sometimes the parents can't teach it for different reasons. It's not always the parents' fault. Sometimes it is. But yeah, I think it's where schools kind of miss out on picking up that bit of slack that's needed for children to be more well-rounded. You know, pensions, budgeting would have been, if I'd been taught that as a kid, that would have been massive. But we weren't. And yeah, like you say, as I've got older, I'm the same. I've got a lot better with money. I was never really bad at it, but definitely got better as I got older. But then I've got a bad habit of, I think for like when I was at Appreciate, I've got a really bad habit of needing something, for whatever reason, whether it's electrical or something, I need a replacement of something. And I'll spend months, and I do mean months, researching, comparing prices. And in the end, I don't ever replace the thing I'm meant to replace until I haven't got a choice but to do so. I'm really bad at that. Spending ages researching something, finding the best price, and then just not committing and not buying it. And my mum gets annoyed by it. Just buy it. But I don't know if I should or not. But I'm really bad for that. I will spend months and then still not do it. Yeah. Cooking, they do cooking a lot more now, though, to be fair, than they used to. When we were kids, cooking wasn't that big in school, I remember. But it's definitely changed now more. Although saying that, my stepson took GCSE cooking, and that was ridiculous. Like, they don't teach cooking as such. They teach, well, they teach a weird form of cooking. You know, and yes, I used to be a chef years ago, so I've slightly different perspective, I suppose. But like, he'd come home and talk about what he'd learned in cooking. And this is GCSE cooking as well. And he didn't even know what the basic fridge temperature should be, because so they weren't taught. And he could cook anyway, you know, he cooked quite a lot when he was a kid. I taught him as well quite a lot. So when he did GCSE cooking, he knew a lot of it. But they weren't taught knife skills or how to handle knives safely and things. They're the kind of basics they need to teach. Like when my boy starts secondary school this year, cooking, they do cooking, I think it's one term they have as cooking as a D&T subject. There'll be woodworking at another term and stuff like that. But talking to the teacher when we went and visited schools and things, they don't teach any of that stuff. I mean, knife skills should be a fundamental part of cooking and teaching children how to cook. You know, my boy has finally got the hang of knives, and you know, he was slightly afraid of them, I suppose, to start with. But I was teaching him, you know, telling him that the knife's not dangerous. The person holding the knife is the dangerous person. The knife itself doesn't hurt anyone. It's the person holding it that does the damage. And then he started to gain more confidence with it. You know, he's in control. But they should be teaching that at school. You know, explaining food dates and stuff, and what stuff can go out of date and still be okay. I still can't believe in supermarkets they have dates on vegetables. Why does a vegetable need a date to say it's no good? Well, you look at it and go, that smells a bit funny. Shouldn't eat that. Or shouldn't sell it anymore. But yeah, no, instead they actually have dates on. Right, we can now set up a convoy. We're getting there. So the first main road's done. We've done this spur off the road to the coastal base. That is done. So, which one's this one? This is main base to coastal. So main base to coastal can now be done. So let's get this off and running. This will give us 5 logs of wood as a reward. It's not an amazing reward, but it's one convoy then on its way. So starting point here, onto this road over here. I think this other convoy line that we've got here is the convoy that failed, although all the rewards are done. So it's not a big deal at all. Kind of just following the route we had the previous convoy, to be fair, until we get to here, which is the dam. So this comes across the dam. Why can that not stop that? There we go. Across the dam. Onto our newly laid road, which was the mission road that we did. You can see our power cable that we laid previously, all nicely under the road, so it's not in the way of anything anymore. And then we're going to get to a junction up here that we made, as we spurred off here. Not particularly happy with how the join is, but sometimes mission roads and your own roads don't join very well. Our road also isn't very wide, I've just noticed, which could be a problem for longer vehicles and corners if you're not careful, to be fair. I didn't realise how tight that was in areas, actually. When you're doing it, it doesn't seem that tight, but actually it does look really tight on the map. Like really thin. It probably isn't actually when you're there, but it looks it on the map. A bit wider for that corner. So this is the first of 3 convoys we're looking at getting done, although one of them I'm not sure how we're going to do yet, because it goes a long way away. That we aren't really ready for just yet, I don't think. Okay, so we spur this off here. I know our vehicle's in the way, but we're going to move that in a second, as we'll carry on doing what we're doing. And that is the first convoy now ready to go. So this one, 5 trucks, 5 logs of wood will go into our base for us to use for rebuilding some of the places. So let's get that off and running. There we go. Off it goes. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they should have no issues. It shouldn't do. We know everything's done for it. Right, we're going to continue round here now to the bridge. While that's doing its thing. This is the big thing with roads. Once they're up and running, convoys are going. And leave them to it. veg looks and feels very soft. Exactly. It doesn't need a date on it, does it? I know a lot of supermarkets are actually changing that now, aren't they? They are stop putting on dates on vegetables and stuff. It's just pointless. You know, you can smell when it's no good, look at it and say it's no good. But I think dates have been so ingrained into people now that people are scared of them as well in a way. My stepson was really bad for it when he was younger. If he saw something out of date in the fridge, he'd throw it. Wouldn't check it, wouldn't do anything with it, he'd just throw it out. If it's out of date. Doesn't matter if it's the best before or used by. It's out of date, that's his reasoning. You know. Whereas dates are guidance more than a hard and fast rule, that's the thing. You know, some things you can't really mess with. Fish, chicken, that's a bit different. But even milk has a date on. But I've got milk in the fridge that will last 3 or 4 days over the day. And there's nothing wrong with it. You know when there's something wrong with it, you put in a cup of tea and it curdles, then you know it's off. But generally it's fine. But same as labelling though as well. Like milk actually has a label like saying contains milk. Well yeah, of course it does. Nuts are the same. It's ridiculous. That's the world we live in though, isn't it? Yeah, I think if kids were explained about food dates and stuff more in school, I think that would make a big difference. Especially when it comes to food wastage and stuff as well. Just seeing how uneven that sand actually is, that is really bad. I don't know if what we could do to fix that actually. Lay more sand and put some more asphalt down maybe. It's definitely not brilliant there. Obviously vehicles stay wide, it won't affect them to be fair, but a bit up and down. When we was doing it, I thought it was absolutely fine. I think that's when we tried to spread the sand wider, I think is when we caused that issue. Because of the angle we came at, I think has made that really awkward. Most AI vehicles should be okay though, I think. Probably fully that way. We'll do this other bit for this corner. Obviously we've made it wider so big vehicles have got more of a turning circle. We'll allow them to turn without going off. Smaller vehicles won't use that wider turn, but I think it's always helpful to have a wide turn for bigger vehicles. Also for passing vehicles as well, to be fair. So what are we? We're 2.5 hours into a 3.5 hour stream, and I think we've done one mission road, and these extra little bits we've done to make convoys work, and that's all we've managed to complete so far today. Doesn't seem a lot, does it? But long term, it's all stuff that's going to help us going forward. My only concern is over the other side of that bridge. Because if we want the second convoy up and running, we need to do the other side of that bridge as well. Which we probably should do it now while we're here. Leaving veg in the fridge. Leaking, yeah. The allergic thing, exactly. I think I get why they're doing it. They've got to protect themselves. That's what it is. I understand that, but it is just ridiculous. You don't buy milk and expect to not have milk in it, do you? Thing. And it is the company, you know, helping themselves and making sure they can't get blamed. Someone who's got a dairy allergy drinks milk and said, I didn't know it was milk. Didn't know it contained it. yeah, nuts may contain nuts. But again, that's to stop the company getting sued, isn't it? Someone eats a packet of peanuts and says, well, it didn't say it had peanuts in it. That's the thing, they've got to protect themselves. But then that's a society issue, isn't it? The blame culture that we now have a lot of the time. It's always someone else's fault. So, another mission complete. The convoy completed its first run. So now that mission's complete, they'll continue going for another 5 more runs. And for each run is successful, we'll gain another log and storage. So that is another mission complete as well. It's always nice when they pop up and you know that they're done. This is nearly completely rolled as well. And then we need to decide whether we're going to do the other bit across the bridge for the convoy, which we probably should for the concrete facility, and that will gain us more supplies, to be fair, which is what we need to get these facilities up and running. I wanted to go and smash some buildings. Now we know there's 5 more buildings to go and do, but there's other things I think we probably should take priority, to be fair. Although the resources we get from smashing the buildings probably would be really good, to be fair. Right, last little bit to roll here. So I'll do this join. Watch out for the convoy coming, because it will be coming this way shortly. We can't set the convoy off to the concrete facility unless we do the road over the bridge. So I think we're going to have to do that. I was hoping we'd do something else, but today seems to be the road building day, the way it's going so far. I don't think we've got much choice. If we don't do it, the other convoy can't be going. We need the resources from it anyway, building materials. So I think we're going to have to go and build that other road. It shouldn't take too long because everything's there. We'll drive this down there as well rather than jump in a different vehicle. So everything is there. We just need to get the actual road to the concrete facility fully operational. And we can either put a road through it or round it. I think round it's probably better. Slightly longer, but I think long term probably the better option, to be fair. So we've got an hour left of the stream. We're 2.5 hours in. We've built loads of roads and talk rubbish about life in general. That's what today's been about. I think that's what games like this are good for, though. You can just chat away, and that's the whole point of me streaming, is for me to socialise. And these are the kind of games that do that. I enjoy the really story-driven games, but you got to focus more on them. Although I do enjoy them, I like these just so you can just chat away. Put the world to rights. Okay, so we've got this here as well, ready to go. All other vehicles are here as well. So for the other convoy, we need to do coastal base here to the forward base. That one we're not sure of yet, so we'll leave that one for the time being. And then main base back over here to the concrete facility here. Now we could put a road in going this way, but I don't really want to put a road through the facility. My thinking is you put a road going this way, because I think we're going to need a road this way anyway for the other convoy we're going to sort out. But I think if we put a road and then join it into here, because when this is rebuilt, I don't know if the road's going to be in the way. So I think if we focus on putting this road here, it's not a long one, so it shouldn't take too long, to be fair. Now the only downside is that obviously our sand quarry ends here, which is a slight issue when it comes to sand. I mean, there isn't a sand quarry over this side that we've found so far, so that's something we're going to deal with. But yeah, I think while we're here and all our equipment's here, I think we're going to have to build another road. Like I say, all we've done today is roads, but I think we haven't got a choice. To get the convoys up and running, we need them. I saw one before Nelson Stearns caught before she hurt herself. So, yeah. Yeah, I can get best what country. Yeah, that would be America then. But yeah, that's the other thing. Well, it's like our previous line of work, Crazy Irishman. Obviously, if you saw someone falling, you weren't meant to catch them, were you? But that goes against every part of me. If you see someone falling over, you should go and help. That's the thing. The amount of people that don't these days because they're too scared of being blamed for something. Our first log has been delivered for the infrastructure route. So there'll be a few more of those to go. You'll see them popping up as we go. Right, we're going to follow this where this water is. That's where we're going to follow round. My only concern, obviously, is refilling the tipper. But we'll have to see how that goes in a minute. But we're going to go all the way around where this water is the way to go. The road itself, I don't think is going to be too long. The issue we've got is keep refilling the tipper, because we haven't got much space. How far out of the zone are we now? Oh, just. Yeah. It's the coming back all the time, because you're going over the sand you've already put down. Can have issues. This bit isn't too bad. Once we start going further forward, coming back is going to be a problem. So we We could try and level it as we go, and that would avoid the issues of going back, maybe. We also don't know how deep this water is offhand. We're about to find out the hard way if we can actually get through there. The Bakel previously has been really good in all water, and mud, so hopefully it is still just as good as it needs to be. But on the map, this does show as a previous road. Obviously the road is no longer there, the water's taken over, the flooding has occurred. But I'm hoping because of the previous road, that's what I was worried about. Yeah. That was my concern, is trying to get back over where you put sand down can be so tricky. I'll try and go next to it, but again, I don't know how deep that water will end up being if you're not careful here. I think we'll be alright actually, I think we might get away with it. For this bit at the very least. And we can drive out of the zone while it's filling up, which is always handy, saves you a bit of time. Okay. Just square this off a bit, and then we'll carry on with the sand down. Make sure we get enough down that it does overfill the water, otherwise it won't lay asphalt on it because the water will still be in the way. The last bit isn't going to come out, is it? Right, so far so good. Although, not so much trying to go backwards to refill. But try not to be too deep in the water. We don't want to drown the engine, obviously. I think we might need to put a bit more sand down here, actually, for this corner as well, just so we don't face any issues. Although doing that will cause us a problem reversing back to fill back up, so that maybe have to be done last. To be fair, the wife and me saw no one over something. Yeah, no, they do. People do walk past these days. They're too scared of something happening to them, aren't they? Blocking off the area. Yeah, I think we've kind of lost that in society, haven't we, nowadays, of the wanting to help people when it's out on the street, especially. People are afraid of consequences. And that isn't necessarily a good thing, but it's how society's made it. That's the thing. If people didn't get sued for helping, I know someone that did CPR on someone, saved their life doing CPR, and then got in trouble because they broke their rib doing CPR. And admittedly, if you've ever done CPR on someone, then you'll know how easy it is to break a rib. It isn't intentional. It is just a consequence of only trying to put the power in to get the heart beating again. You're doing it to save someone's life, and it is so easy to do damage, but it's never intentional. It is just a byproduct of that manoeuvre. And yeah, they got in severe trouble and sued for it. And it's just like, the guy would have been dead without it, but yet he's in trouble for helping the guy. You know, I just find that so mad that that's the thing. But that's what puts people off helping people, is the consequences of what could happen to them because of what they do to help. That's where the world's kind of gone wrong a little bit. I say a little bit, a lot. That's the thing. But that is what stops people wanting to help. Right, we're nearly actually there with the sand. I think there was a bit more to put down on that early bit, but I want to wait until we've got this bit done, just so we can still go backwards, because the manoeuvre going backwards is awkward where you've already put sand. There is some rocks showing up. They're going to come up after you put sand on them. They kind of come through the sand once you put sand over the top of them, which is a little bit annoying. But when we grade the sand, we should be able to get a lot of them out of the way, I think. See the rocks coming through. Okay. How are we looking on the map? You can see how far we are. So we're getting there. We're just going to go up to this junction here and then turn in. The actual finish point is here. So we'll do probably to this kind of bit here. So we haven't got too much more to do. The time consuming part is keep going back to refill. But we can't do anything about that, annoyingly. We could get another heavy dump here to give us a bit more space. We'd still have to go back a decent amount to be able to get anywhere close to it, that's the thing. Another log delivered as well? We're not doing it right. Yeah, exactly. The amount of force needed, you're going to do damage, it's a given, isn't it? As I say, that's what stops people helping nowadays, is the fear of getting in trouble themselves. And I understand that fear, but it's wrong that we're in that position. Come on. Didn't like that turn though, did it? It's that lump just there of sand. It's not very happy about. And maybe better off grading this in a minute, just so we can actually go back along it to refill a bit easier. May do that after this run here, actually grade what we've got. We'll be able to see roughly where we need more sand as well, actually, if we grade it. Because I think here could be potentially a problem. There's not enough sand, actually. Got a bit down now over here. So yeah, I think we'll grade where we're up to, because that way we can kind of know where we're at, and it should make it easy to go back and refill, which is the big issue. Make this a little bit wider as well where the water is. There we go. Right, what we'll do, we'll quickly stop there with this. We'll quickly grade the bit we've done. The grader's just across the bridge. It's not like we've got to go far. And hopefully that'll make it a bit easier to keep refilling. Let's get the grader across the bridge. It makes sense to us now just because everything's already here. At the end of the day, it does make life a little bit easier when everything's nearby. The big thing is getting a road to the forward operating base, the forward fob. That's going to be a problem. I think there's a lot of water to get past there. We've still yet to use asphalt destruction either on a grader. Just haven't needed using the whole base game or first DLC. It's one of those things that sounds good, but we just never needed it. Doesn't mean we won't need it in the future, that's the thing. Right, did we put enough sand down where the water is? That's the big question. Although we can go on and put more down, to be fair. See the rocks I've cut through the sand as well here. We need to get them to one side if we can, otherwise they're going to cause issues when we try and lay the asphalt down. Did they all move? They did all move. Brilliant. To be fair, the amount of sand we put down the water is actually alright. It seems to have worked out to be the right amount. You normally tell if there's water coming through that you need a bit more. Okay, this bit, being conscious of the stones and things as well. Again, we need to try and move them to one side if we can. Otherwise they're going to end up being in our way when we try and lay the asphalt. It will cause us problems. You can see the ones here. We need to move those if we can. Even if we just move them to the side, they're out of the way that way, but the asphalt layer will get stuck on them if we're not careful. I think they were low enough to collect up. No, one got away there. Like a little collection of rocks. There we go. Swing them to the side, they're out of the way. We'll have to do a bit more with that once. Lay the sand there. They come through the sand though, that's the thing. Put one of them over this way. Get rid of. Episode of Sulu watched. I don't know what it's called. He's currently about 5-6 parts into a series where he's doing a lot of grass work, and he was using a hand pulled windrower. Was it a windrower or was it no? Actually, it was a hand pulled. What are they called? What are the blocks called? Bales. was that hand-pulled baler, interestingly, which is quite cool to see. Well, I'm just going to try and move this to the side. Obviously we need to refill sand. Should be a little bit easier now, as we've got a more flat route to go back on. I do think we need a bit more sand on this other edge here to allow for the corner to be taken a little bit easier. But yeah, this will make life a little bit easier getting back to refill. Probably could put a bit more sand on this edge here as well, just so it allows the corner to be taken a little bit easier as well. But I think that we'll do those last. There we go. Once we start refilling, we can start moving forward again. Drummond, yes, Drummond, that's it. That's the one. Yeah, the hand baler was quite cool to see, to be fair. I've not watched too much, to be honest. Mainly because I've not had the chance, but yeah, the hand pulled baler was quite cool. Right, let's keep going round. More rocks are going to start coming up. Obviously, we're trying to be too quick. How are we doing time-wise? We're okay, time. Why is that coming down? I swear I'm not pressing the button to close that, but it seems to be closing. Okay. We're quite wide there, to be fair, but we've got to go up that little hill there. And then I think we're there. Yeah, I think we need to go a bit more tighter here with sand, to be fair. Third log delivered from another infrastructure complete. So I think there's 2 more deliveries now to do. That'll give us a log apiece. All them logs are going to be needed for rebuilding the facilities that we find. We'll try not to use them, I don't think, until we really have to. We can make and recycle stuff to make what we need. The concrete facility, metal beam's already up and running. And the pipe facility, I don't think we found the pipe yet actually. But the concrete one, we'll try and not focus on what I was doing. We'll try and make what we can and not use what we've got in storage. And then when it comes to doing the oil rigs, we can use what's in storage first, which will be closer to the oil rigs, followed by whatever we need extra on top to make. I think that makes more sense rather than using everything in storage for the smaller buildings now. I think we'll gain quite a bit when we destroy these 5 buildings that are over this side of the map as well. I think we'll gain quite a lot of resources for them. 5, hopefully. And whether there's any more buildings to destroy further up, I don't know. We've also got the building by the castle that needs tearing down with the with our wrecking ball, but we've got to wait until we get the explosives to get there. Which at the minute we haven't been to that bit of the map. We need some bridges to be able to go to that bit of the map to have a look at where this explosives are. That's something we do need to do. Right, we'll just level off what we've just done, just so it allows us to be able to get back and refill a little bit easier. Loads of rocks showing up now, which will all be a pain for the asphalt layer, to be fair. Other than putting them to the side, I can't really do much more with them, to be fair. We could bring something with a crane over and pick them all up individually. A lot of the time you can pick them all up. I think a lot of the time it just causes more hassle, because then you've got to get them out anyway. We do need to try and get them off the road a little bit, even if they're just to the side. It will help. See, they're all getting stuck though. Problem is, doing it this way can actually make the road really uneven, because it's still moving sand. We've got those out of the way at least. A lot more stones showing up, just to cause us more issues. It's more the asphalt layer that we have issues with, nothing else really we bothered by them, to be fair. It's more just the asphalt layer. Okay. Chuck there for a second, jump in. Right, let's go and refill this. Definitely a lot easier to refill once you've flattened what you've already done. Yeah, there's definitely some bits we need to put a bit more sand down on. But because we've got to keep going backwards, we'll come back and do those shortly. I was really hoping to have another mission done on top of the roads and stuff we've already done today. The way it's going, I don't think we get a chance. It's all infrastructure. Oh, it wouldn't be fun now if the link was this, exactly. There we go. Yeah, I thought we was going to get another bridge build, maybe knock some buildings down. Try to take a drink and driving. Not a good plan. Not alcoholic either, just normal drink. Forgot there was a corner there. I spilled my drink down myself now as well. I'm just trying to avoid that corner. But yeah, so I think next stream, which will be Tuesday, next week, hopefully we can get the bridge built, get across. There's just a lot of infrastructure to sort out before we can actually get anywhere with this map. Autumn Collapse for this DLC. There's definitely a big focus on getting the infrastructure sorted before we even get anywhere close to doing the actual mission, main mission, which is rebuild oil rig. That's the thing. But we are nearly there. For the turn is just there, so we're not far away. 2 or 3 more loads, and then we'll be there. And then it's just doing a couple of bits on the corners, and then we can lay the asphalt, get a roll job done. And then we'll see where we're at there. Time-wise, probably 20 miles, 40 minutes. So hopefully we get this done next 10-15 minutes. And then we either go and knock some buildings down or go and build a bridge. That's our next choice of what to do next. I'm only because we're knocking them buildings down. It's a flooded area. But the concern with that is the materials are going to end up underwater, aren't they? And then if you can't see them when they're underwater, we're going to have an issue picking them up. Although the crane probably will also detect them, but it's more knowing how much we've got of what, that's the thing. We've also got to get the vehicle there to actually knock them down, which, looking at the state of the roadway to get there, could potentially be a problem as well, to be honest. That's something we need to consider. Because I think the actual way to get there is all underwater. Which is why we can't do the other convoy to the forward operating base. Because I think we are going to need to build another road. So I was trying to avoid just doing roads today, but I think we might actually end up doing all roads today. Okay, so we're now at the junction to get towards over there, which is where it's going to end. How does that road look currently? I'm curious to whether we can get away with not doing more road there, but I think we're going to need to. I was wondering whether we could get away with not sanding, but I think we are going to need to. Yeah, I think if most vehicles probably will get there fine, but it'd be sod's law to use a Wayfarer, and if we haven't put sand down, that will cause some issues. Annoyingly. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get away with it. I was hoping it didn't need as much as I think it's going to need. Again, we've got 2 convoys this kind of is going to use for. One going to a concrete facility, and a bit of this will also be used for the forward operating base as well. So it's not like we're doing this for a one-off mission, we are doing this for 2, at least. Plus our way of getting vehicles there as well. Young man, you can't do 2 things at once, it's very true. Turning, I don't, yeah, maybe. We are going to put a bit more sand on these edges, corners. I'm just waiting till we're already past it to come back. Because otherwise we've then got to bring the grader back and all this stuff. I think once we've got the actual bit done, which is we're nearly there, we'll then pick more sand up, go and do those bits we need to add more on. But we shouldn't have any issues going back and forth because we're going backwards. It will make sense in a minute, I think. Hopefully. Okay. No matter what we do here, we know we're going to need more road later. So it doesn't really matter how we make this join. Because either way, there's got to be a turn here. I'm not pressing close, but it keeps closing it. Is it all the sound, or is it still going? That's it. I don't know if we'll get away with just that, to be fair. That goes to that entrance there. We might get away with that. Not too sure about the turn, though. There's still a bit of sand there. I'm finding that with this sometimes. It's not fully emptying for some reason. Never used to have an issue. But even if you get it all the way up, it doesn't fully empty. Doing it now. Is that it? Is it done? Yeah. Right, what we do, we quickly use the grader to grade this bit, just because then we can see roughly what we've got and what else we need. Mainly for that turning, if anything. Top sharp corner, yeah, I'm not too sure about that at the minute. We'll have a better idea once we've graded up to there and see where we're at, but yeah, we're probably going to need more there, it would seem. We'll try and get this as wide as we can, and put more in the middle. Yeah, it might need more on this right hand side here, although it might be okay. I don't want to cut corners because I know it's going to affect us long term. It's always better to do it properly while we're here and come back, because we've cut corners and needed more. We should have done it there and then. But yeah, my concern is obviously this turn here, I think. We'll need a lot more for that, I think. It's not an easy turn at all, that. Well, stand-wise, I think we've got quite a lot there, to be fair. Right, I don't think we need any more going to the doorway here. I think we've done enough there. It comes all the way down to there, to be fair, which is more than I thought it would. So I think that's fine. Obviously the turn here is the thinking. Even this is struggling to go up the hill there. It's quite steep. Once the asphalt's down though, obviously you'll gain more grip. That's not the end of the world. I think the turning's not too bad actually. If we can spread it across this way as well, which I think will help. Yeah, that turning's not too bad. Obviously we're going to go back and fix some of the corners near the water as well, so that'll be done. Yeah, I don't think this is as bad as it first seemed. It's going to take a lot of asphalt to sort it out here though. But then we'll end up joining to this in due course anyway. Trying to get rid of the stones over here as well. Whereas the bucket lifts up sometimes because of the gradient, so you lose whatever stone you're pushing at that point. But yeah, I think this bit's actually gone really well. Better than I thought it was, to be fair. And rocks weren't there a minute ago. No, that's true. That turn was horrendous. And Colonel, yeah, that turn was really bad. Right, I'm trying to move a couple of these rocks out of the way. Can. I've just found a big mound there without meaning to. The only problem with trying to move sand around, sometimes you can just make it worse. I think that's alright. Obviously the stones are an issue, but if you go too much to the side it will make this really bad. In terms of bumpy. Right, I think we need a little bit more sand on that start point on a couple of the quarter corners, and then I think we're good to lay asphalt. We may have some issues with the rocks, but if I keep trying to move them with this, I am making it worse by making more divots in the ground. I really don't want that. Okay, so this corner here to put a bit more sand, and that one just over there, and then I think we're there. So we'll jump back into the tipper take it back to refill. I think that's turned out better than we expected. Yeah, Colonel one was horrendous. That was such a sharp turn though, wasn't it? I don't think we could have done it much differently. It was just the way the turn was. But yeah, I definitely, all we've done today is roads. At least the infrastructure mission's done as well, that's one out of the way. But everything we've done today is just roads. 3.5 hours of building roads, eh? And putting the world to rights. That was the other thing we've done today. Yeah, I think we're going to need more road to get round to take them buildings out. We're not going to be able to do that as is. Okay, a bit more sand here. Don't want too much. Enough that the water disappears. Should be okay. And then that first corner as well, and then I think we are done with the sand. Just going to make sure we allow for overtaking, that's the thing. It's nothing worse than meeting the AI on a convoy, because they don't stop for you. Okay, just want to put a little bit more in this corner if we can. Hoping that's enough. We will know more once we grade it, to be fair. Sometimes you can't tell how far the sand's going to go until you start grading it. Although it doesn't look like I've done very much there, to be fair. Okay, back into the grader, and then hopefully we're good to go in terms of actually putting the asphalt down. A little bit of water at the end of the day isn't a big deal. The asphalt won't lay properly, but it won't matter that massively. Although it matters to me a bit. But that water's now fully complete, that's good. Just this extra bit here we just need to sort out. May need a bit more on this first bit, to be fair. No, that's gone as well, perfect. Let's turn here as well. Oh, actually, that's turned out better than I thought. That has gone really well there. That was a lot better than I expected. Okay. Just want to do this other edge just because of the turn over here. Just going to come round on this far edge here and just come round to the bridge. And then we'll lay the asphalt, get it rolled, another one done. With the joist thing. Joist thing? Can't think what the joist thing is. Have you done the barrels and stuff yet, Crazy Irishman, that damage as you move them? Because that's always fun. Obviously, we don't have to do this edge. We probably could leave this road as is, but it's also a sense to me can't leave things looking rough, especially when we can avoid it. It's not a mission road, but it is needed for the convoy, so I also want to make it look alright. Spend that extra minute sometimes just making sure we've got it right. Right, I think we're good to go there. Then we can now lay asphalt along that whole bit. Get this out of the way as well. There's room for 2 vehicles there. Come on. We can get past it. Small enough. Okay, perfect. Right, asphalt layer next. We are getting there. Doing Colonel, no. Yeah, you've not got the need through the scraps yet. You'll have to come then. What I'm thinking, while we're here, I'm just going to lay a bit of my asphalt on this edge. I know it's a bit wavy, but the roller's going to come this way in a minute anyway, so a bit of asphalt here, still we can be able to roll over in a second. Come on, go straight. It's a bit better. That's when we was getting rid of rocks and stuff, we kind of made that a bit more divoty than I would like. Divoty is probably not a proper word either, but there we go. Although this is the best asphalt layer, it still has its problems. It still doesn't like certain things. Okay, asphalt delay, we can roll it, we'll see what time's left after that in case we can do anything else. Got a feeling though today it's all been about roads and we're not going to get much else done after that, I don't think. We shall see. Right, we'll try and make sure this is wide enough as well, just in case we need to pass the convoy at any point, but also if they're using big vehicles to be able to turn this on the corners. So we'll probably have to come 2 runs of this, I think, to this side and the other side, potentially 3 depending if we can join the middle or not. We did miss a bit of water, but it should be okay. I don't think the asphalt will fill it. Wavy there. I think the worst machines to try and control are these asphalt layers. If they get anything caught or slight variation in how the ground is, it really struggles. A little bit too close to the edge, I think, is the problem there. Maybe we'll just be a little bit further on, just falling off the edge. I may have actually filled that little hole with a bit of water in it, to be fair. Didn't see it, we'll have a look on the way back, but I didn't actually quite see it afterwards. Come on. Considering this is the best asphalt layer in the game, it's the widest, it's the best to control. Still is not easy. Still has a mind of its own. It's not going to like that slope either, I don't think. Expecting the rocks as well, which could be a problem in a minute. Come on up the hill. Not liking it. Okay. Really not happy about that hill. It's gone slightly to the side to see if it will do it that way. There we go. Okay, it's turning to the right. I can't turn left, otherwise it won't move forward. We'll have to come back and fix that little bit of asphalt there. It's always the thing with the asphalt layers, sometimes you just have to come back and fix what you've missed because of the way it's going up and down. It would probably be better to go down in a minute than it is to go up, to be fair. There we go. Say, it may not seem like we've made a massive amount of progress today, but actually we've laid the foundation quite a bit. One convoy is fully complete now as well. We've done one of the mission roads as well. That convoy that's delivering the logs is finished, it's done. It will keep delivering, you'll still see the vans go back and forth from nearby, but it was actually done. We've got the 5 logs in place for that. Logs are the one material I'm not actually that fussed about because we can get them so easily. That's the thing, but yeah, that delivery had logs, annoyingly. We could also just leave the sand here. We don't actually have to lay the asphalt, but the sand over time will degrade. It will get dug into different vehicles. It will go away, pushed aside, and you don't get as much grip going up the hill with just sand than you do with the asphalt. So it's definitely worth spending a bit of time and actually getting the asphalt down, I think. Obviously, if the AI for the convoy uses vehicles that are good, have got all-wheel drive, none of this was needed because they would have made it themselves. But we don't know what vehicle they're going to use for the convoy as such, so we've got to make sure it's right. Plus, we're going to need to get vehicles this way anyway, as well. Let's round this bit off a little bit more. Okay. I don't mind leaving the odd bit. As we said earlier, potholes on the road are normal, especially here in the UK. I do try and correct what we can as we go. I don't want to have a third run if we can avoid it here. I think we'll be alright with just 2, to be fair. Exactly, that's what we've done. We've created the infrastructure for the transport. That's the big thing. It just doesn't feel like we've achieved that. Mission-wise, we've actually achieved a couple. With the convoy mission finishing as well, we actually have achieved a few missions off the list. But when you look back, when I put in the blurb after the stream, it's going to feel like we've not actually achieved very much. But sometimes you end up feeling that just because the lack of missions complete. When sometimes it's not about completing the missions, it's about getting everything ready to complete them, isn't it? That's the thing. There we go, it's rounded off really nicely. I'm just going to roll this then, and we've got time for 15-20 minutes. But we'll definitely get the road done. Alright, last little bit, and then we can roll the whole thing. It'll probably take 3 runs with the roller, I think. Turn left. So it won't go forward if we turn left. There we go, try that. Definitely asphalt layers take longer to sort things out than other vehicles just because they're turning. It won't go forward unless it was turning to the right there. And I wanted to go left. Luckily you can lay asphalt in reverse, which does help. Come on, last little bit. There we go. As I say, we're probably going to need to lay asphalt and stuff all the way around to the forward operating base anyway. So we're not going to go too far away. Time to jump in the roller, roll that road fully, and then we can set the convoy up for the concrete facility. That can be off and running while we're doing something else. Whatever we decide is next. That one, that's another convoy that can then start. Can do it. That, nah, I can't. That's not good, Crazy Irishman. Can't say things like that. Okay, let's get this rolled. Yeah, you can't say things like that nowadays. It's actually not much of a run of land. When the time it takes to build the road, considering how far you've actually got with it, it's not very long at all. The wife definitely would kill you for that. That's the thing. But yeah, at least the second convoy's up and running. I think we get pipes for that, and actually we need pipes to fix a few things nearby as well. Although I think the pipe facility will be over the other side where the explosives are. I think it'll be over there. If there is one on the map, there may not be, which means we've got to scavenge a lot more pipes if not, because there are pipes to fix. but my assumption is it's over the other side of the water where the dynamite is, which we'll try and get to next time. We'll build a bridge, get across, so we can go and pick that up at the very least, because we need to unblock the way to the castle. There's also a building to break down in the castle itself with a wrecking ball. So hopefully we'll get to that next time as well. I don't come into RoadCraft streams with an expectation of what we're going to achieve. We do try and just do it naturally when we come across new missions and things, and as we go make that decision on the spot. So I don't really have a plan of how much I want to achieve. So I can't say we've underachieved in the stream. It just feels like we've not done very much for the time we've spent, but sometimes these things take time. And the AI with this first road didn't help, to be fair. That was a pain in the butt with the AI there. Alright, let's keep heading round. And we're back over the middle bit I've missed. Well, I think we will need a third run, so it's not the end of the world to miss a bit on this other side. But I want to make sure it's no more than a roller's width on the other side, really. I don't want a fourth run if we can avoid it. Make sure it's within a roller's width. Yeah, I kind of went off. This bit's quite wide here, actually. It was made that wide in the end. Nearly there. Okay, we should be on the last run in a second, which is on that right hand side. And then we'll send the convoy over. We're rapidly running out of time now. It's bouncing offline as well, which isn't helpful. For those that haven't seen the schedule, as I say, we're back tomorrow morning with Kingdom Come Deliverance. Hopefully finish the base game tomorrow morning as well. And potentially start DLC, depending what the base game entails in terms of story-wise. And finishing off, we may start one of the DLCs tomorrow. I think there's 4 DLCs in total. I don't know what they contain, whether it's missions or cosmetics. Because we try and do everything blind, I've not looked. So I actually don't know. We'll have to have a proper look and decide what's what. And also, we're still at side missions we haven't finished. We need to kind of decide what we want to achieve with those finish-wise. Once we finish the main story as well, we will go and have a look on the trophies and see if it's worth going for platinum. I've got a feeling there are going to be missable trophies, but I don't know for sure. It would make sense there is, because of some of your choices to change the game. But they could have made other things. What was that? I lost my train of thought there. Completely lost my train of thought. Don't know if you notice how much more we rely on Google Maps. That's true, yeah. You don't see people pull out old maps anymore, do you? I completely lost. Oh, platinum was or something. Yeah, I don't know what trophies we've got and what we need. We'll have a look after main story stuff. But yeah, you don't see people pull out maps anymore. I remember when I was a kid we'd have a map in the car for when we went away and stuff. I think we went to Cornwall as a kid, and I remember then parents having to get a map out on the way down some of these country roads and stuff to make sure it was in the right direction. Yeah, phoned us all. We've got a disability car, and we every 3 years you basically replace it, or they replace it, and we have it because of me and my lack of movement and stuff. Basically with the same car we had. So every 3 years you can get a new car. You have to put money towards. I think we paid just under £2,000 as a down payment on the car. And the screen inside the old car, which was a Ford Cougar, wasn't that big. This one is massive. And the amount of cameras when you reverse and when you go forward is ridiculous. So many cameras. And it's meant to make life easier. That's the whole point of having all these cameras and sensors and stuff. But if anything, it makes it worse. You've got all this beeping going on, and yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's too much sometimes. Rather than just letting you go on with reversing and parking, really. My other half is really good at reverse parking as well. It's one of her big things she's really good at when it comes to driving. But the cameras make it worse because there's so much going on, beeping to look at. You don't have to ignore the beeping in the cameras a lot of the time. They've gone a little bit too far, I think, with that kind of stuff. I think we missed a little bit on the edge. I just want to roll back and just check. I don't think we missed much, but I think we did in some of these wider parts. It may not matter as much, but I think it's worth doing while we're here. We're not going to manage to get too much more achieved, so might as well make sure this is done properly. We don't have to go too far because it thins out a minute after this one. Right, I think we're good. Right, I think we've got enough room to leave that there without being in the way. So now we can set this convoy up. Well, in fact, you can see where we've missed. It does show up actually, to be fair, doesn't it? Look at that. Can we actually see it ourselves? Oh, it's not where we've missed. It's where there's a slight deviation in the sand. It's caused a bit of a incline. Right, objectives. I think there's only 3 left. Metal pipes. Where's that one going to? Main base. There we go. This one we need. So concrete facility. A main base here. Concrete facility is what we need for this one. So again, this is following the same route the other convoys have used. And then we get to the dam. We go across the dam. We need to go round to our base, coastal base. We'll head that way and then spur off near there to then go and head towards the bridge. So this route is actually quite a long route in the end, to be fair. But yeah, 5 trucks. Once you've got the first bit done, 5 trucks after that. Well, there's the truck delivering that one there. We'll go and then we'll deliver 1 pipe per truck, which, with knowing that we've got loads of pipes to fix, will be really, really handy. I don't know how close we are to actually getting the concrete facility back up and running. Might be fairly close. We'll have to have a look in a second and just see. That blue of the power cable underneath the road actually is really annoying. We tend to try and do them underneath, well, around the edges of roads more than underneath, because that blue line kind of stops you seeing where you're putting things down. So I think it is better sometimes not to go under the road itself and go to the side, but we did that before the road, to be fair. Okay, this is the join, so we want to come to the right here. And 5 minutes. I don't think we'll even see this convoy complete, to be fair, with the time that's remaining. But we can have a look at what's next and how we're going to manage to get it done as well. That's the thing. We've got to get a convoy to the forward operating base. We need to see what else we need to get up and running, actually. I don't think the convoy gets up and running. I think that's something we've got to look at in terms of materials and things. I've got to be careful not to go too far to the left hand side, otherwise it will go into the water. It seems so simple, the route, once you plan it out like this, but actually making it and doing it, 2 different things. Right, there we go. That route is now done. We can dispatch that first vehicle. Off it goes. Luckily it's not a Wayfarer, it's quite a small vehicle actually as well, to be honest. Right, that is done. Concrete plant is now getting its delivery. The 5 pipes that are being delivered, we actually need those to get up and running. We need the concrete facility though. We need 10 concrete slabs. Well, we need the concrete facility to make them, so we need to find them around the place otherwise. There's nowhere to buy things from or anything at the minute. So we've got to look around concrete slabs. Now the other mission we have, the other convoy here, is we need to deliver equipment across the river to the forward operating base. Now the problem with this, it's from our central base to the forward operating base over there. Now our road we just did to here, there is with the road that does lead that way, and a main road here that leads to the southeastern tunnel. But actually, we need to come where all the water is. You can see where the old road was here. We need to move the boat potentially and the tree. Put another road in here. Although we may not need a road, we may just need to move the tree. If that's not too deep, the road underneath it will be normal asphalt, which means you won't lose grip. We won't need to lay a road there, but we're going to need to drive that and check. Then we need to come all the way up here. I think it's the tree then. I think that's the only thing we need to move. And then to the forward operating base here. So actually, there's already a bridge there as well. I don't think we need to do too much there. The only thing we need to do is potentially push the boat and get rid of any trees and branches in the way. That may be it. Maybe extend this road across down to here as well. That may be it. That actually might be. I think we're going to get concrete slabs from these buildings once we break them down. My only concern, obviously, the amount of water in there. I don't want to lose the materials, but I think if we... So next stream will be Tuesday for RoadCraft. I think we get the forward operating base up and running by sending a vehicle to go and get rid of that tree, maybe push the boat, we'll see. But also test how this is. If it is still asphalt underneath that water, it's not too deep, we're laughing. I think we extend this road ever so slightly to there as well. And then once that base is up and running, which should be fairly quick, I think, we can then bring over the wrecking ball, destroy these 5 buildings. Hopefully it gives us some materials to set up the concrete plant, and then build a bridge to go across here as well. I think there's a gap. I don't think that's connected. I'm not 100% sure until we go there. But that's kind of the plan going forward, I think. Yes, we've done lots of road building today, but it's all been needed. And we have completed a couple of objectives from that. So metal pipes are being done now. Forward base we plan to do next stream. Once we get across to the island, we can go and get these explosives there to open up the castle, and then destroy the building that's over by the castle as well. Over here, there is a building to destroy over here. We don't know what else is in there, actually, to be fair. We need to have a proper look around there, I think. But we need to destroy that roadblock first to even get anywhere close to it. In fact, we need to do the roadblock, then we need to build a bridge to even get up there, to be fair. Is that all? After that, is it all good to go? Yes. And then we can go in, potentially knock this down, get materials, and go and see what else is in there, because there might be other stuff to pick up. We don't know. There's something blue. Is that blue or is that just an old roadway? I think it's just an old roadway, to be fair. So yeah, demolish that with the explosives, build a bridge, that's the castle. And then the big thing is getting across this northeastern part of the map. And then hopefully we'll have all the facilities we can get up and running, and then focus on the oil rig after that. We are making progress. It is a little bit slow at times, but I think we're doing okay. Infrastructure wise, what have we got? We've placed the pipes, we know about this. 3 pipes that need replacing at the concrete plant. Plot the route we're going to do in due course. We need power to where we're building the oil rigs. What's this one? Concrete facility, that's already on the run. More pipes need replacing. Is that the same? It might be this. Actually, it's the same because there's not many there. So yeah, we're making good progress. Yes, it's been very much road building today. We've laid the foundations ready for next stream where we can really crack on and make good headway in this map by the looks of things. We'll have a quick look before we finish on what's left. It will tell us the amounts. Obviously, there's only one main objective on this map, but there's everything else in these doing to allow you to do that main objective. And obviously, we're going to 100% the map before we finish it anyway, as we have done with every map in the game, base game and DLC previously. So we're 36% complete. I think we gained 6% today. 7 of 15 infrastructure missions, which tells me we've got 4 on the list. Take us to 11, so we've got 4 more infrastructure missions we don't know about. I bet when we open up that northeastern section, we gain them there. 13 of 35 side objectives. We've only got 3 on the go, which takes us to 16. So what's that leave us? 19. There's 19 side objectives we don't know anything about. They can't all be just that northeastern corner. So I think there's going to be a lot more to come side objective wise. 19 is a lot before we even build the oil rig, to be fair. But that is it. We're out of time for today, I'm afraid. We are done. So tomorrow morning, back with Kingdom Come Deliverance as we continue to try and finish the base game and move on to the DLCs. We'll have a look at trophies and all that stuff as well tomorrow. Hopefully, if we can get the base game finished. And then schedule is out on Sunday, as always, 1 p.m. GMT. Schedule video, 8 p.m. GMT for the live stream community post detailing all the live streams for next week. Crazy Irishman, pleasure seeing you. Thank you very much for joining us today. It is always appreciated. And enjoy the rest of your day as well. And yeah, that is it. We're back tomorrow, as I say. But thank you for the likes, the comments, the views, and the conversation. If we don't see you tomorrow for Kingdom Come Deliverance, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. And we'll see you in a live stream very soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.